What's up, Sheriff? What's up, Red Hair? Red Hair. We got King Wash. We got Michaela. Uh, what's up? Going on, Mon? Let me see. Let me let everybody know I'm live now. What's up, C3? Uh, there's a lot of people coming through. I thought, hold on, I thought there was more people in here. What's up, Los? R. Some filters comments sent a gift. Appreciate it. Ooh, what's up, Tyron? Uh, man, this weekend went by fast as hell. Weekend went by fast as hell, to say the least. What's up? Dang. Not much.
Yeah, I've been cooking YK and these pan goofies for like the past weekend. So yeah.
So
A non-stop barrage of pseudo shit that they be spewing, bro.
for sure. What's up? Yeah, they've been.
I'm gonna have to start a debate with this clown because he can't shut up for real.
Shout out to the people that got energy to debate these folks, because I don't.
Exactly. It's a time wasting energy. Like niggas literally don't know how to understand how Hegelian dialect works. The transition of like different labels that we went through over the times. It gives me such a headache debating these morons. But to answer tonight's prompt, are Black American Indians matriarchal or patriarchal? In my opinion, it's a little bit of both. But initially it's matriarchal because most of the heads of the clan would be females.
Okay.
And to get like access, like federal access to tribes, you have to go through the female matrilineal lineages. So
right,
and that's why they put up laws like the right for YT men to marry indigenous females to gain allodial access to land and things like that. And that's why they made them honorary YTs out of nowhere and decided to try and delete Black men and women for claiming indigenousness or try to force them onto a reservation to be like servile and classified and mislabeled as a misnomer called freedmen, which that was used upon like Greco-Roman chattel property. I wouldn't say chattel at that point because it wasn't chattel slavery, but it's basically like it because they were using Eastern Europeans and Southern Mediterranean ethnic groups as property in the Greco-Roman Empire. And they, once they got to the United States, they Africanized it.
for sure. How do I want to answer this? I don't want to go to an outer worldly thing, but I know for sure you got the Algonquin, the Haudenosaunee. Like most of these tribes were matrilineal at one point. We only find few tribes like the Shawnee, right, that were patrilineal. And if you see any tribe that's patrilineal, they were warlike people, right? They were always at war, or always at WAR. Because like just studying the culture of these different tribes, I know for a fact, can't nobody tell me. Because the Europeans looked down upon the culture, especially the Powhatan culture when they first came over here, when they saw how much power women had. Because clan mother is the reason they pass down the lineage. That's what a clan mother means, and things like that. So my lineage may be Choctaw. They were too. Like it's different. Like learning these laws. Like if you had a child, the child took on the mother's clan and things of that nature. And also, the man had to go move in with the woman. The man had to move in with the woman's family because there's a thing called, especially on the social aspect, and Muskogee do it too, right? Especially on the social aspect, right? What you consider the child's social father is the woman's, is their mother's uncle. That's the social father of the child. They're the one that teaches them.
With all of everything.
Are you an American Indian? If not, shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Like this ain't. We talking about all. I think it depends on my language. Maybe Choctaw. Like all that. Even if we want to go, we can go on a worldly aspect too. I could break that because this is more than just a physical thing or what people are physically doing. It's a spiritual thing and a cult thing as well, right?
So you agreeing that's a cult?
A cult. It's an occult thing as well too.
So doesn't that mean grooming somebody to believe?
Like we don't get the way it ain't grooming nobody. The way the world operates now is also Greco-Roman, and they weren't even like that at first either. There's some modern Greco-Roman shit.
It's literally grooming somebody.
Ain't nobody grooming nothing. Like ain't nobody that's YT gonna tell me about grooming shit.
Why? You talking about?
Are you YT, Ryan? Are you European, Ryan?
No.
Where were you from?
Hispanic.
Yeah, Latino. Okay. Where your forefathers from?
Fuck if I know.
Fuck if you know. See, you ain't even fit this conversation. You can't even talk. No. Oh, my bad. I removed Tyrone. Wrong person. Yeah, he a goddamn European. My bad, Tyrone. I removed. I removed the wrong person.
Well,
but
that's
yeah,
the first sleep of the night.
Yeah, matrilineal, and then matrilineal, like that don't mean one person that control. Folks had different gender roles too, like gender roles, quote unquote. As we was deemed of today. And they mean men were weak in these tribes. Men had more of a different role. WAR, when it came to WAR, men took more of a heat in WAR. What else? Politics, things of that nature. Women more so took care of the village, took care of the family, and things like that. So folks had their different roles. And especially if you look at that story, what's a Black Indian and American Indian. I just put that in the title for the hell of it, right? And if we go on top of that, historically, like women didn't want to, like when folks were moving out west and shit on the Trail of Tears, the women they want to go on the Trail of Tears. The women did, especially the Cherokee story, they did not want to go on the Trail of Tears. They was like, fuck no. They're like, fuck no, we not going. The men wanted to go on the Trail of Tears.
Man, that's crazy work. And
we see this story all throughout different spiritual stories, like the epics of Gilgamesh, Tiamat, right? Marmaduke, Tiamat. We see this with the Moors when they turned on their women. We see this story all throughout different spiritual stories and different cultural histories. People getting turning on their matriarchs. It is like that for a reason. That's why I said it's more than just a physical thing; it's an occult thing too. And, you know, I studied this shit all. I ain't never resonate worshiping the goddamn man. What's up, Sam? Like I ain't never really resonate worshiping the goddamn man. That's some foreign shit. The world wasn't even like that. It's called Mother Earth. We go on different spiritual aspects. The sun came out the earth, not the other way around. Especially we talk about American Indian spiritual stories. The sun came out the earth. It's not the other way around.
Because I don't think like something that's so destructive that releases radiation and fire could be able to create another like spinning rock or piece of earth type thing because it's meant to like burn up things. It may light up and illuminate the atmosphere, but most of the part it doesn't really create, I think. But
Like,
angle would be you also had people that had harems back then. Like the females had harems of husbands and females had harems of wives. For example, Chief Powhatan, he had multiple wives, and the Akamax Laughing King, he had multiple wives as well, for example.
And women had multiple husbands too.
Mm-hmm.
People don't say that. Like we're naturally in these couple settings, we are polyamorous people, right? And it had to be approved of. It had to be approved upon as well. Like you couldn't just go out and just have, hey, I got multiple women, I got multiple husbands, I got multiple wives. Nah, if you got caught, right, and they got harsher punishments too with the Powhatan. If a man was caught cheating, he would get unalive. If a woman got caught cheating, she would be put in jail. She'd be put in what we consider jail. She'll be put in jail.
Some of them like would cut off somebody's nose if they spoke out of turn or something like that.
Like, yeah, it could like, and this is well documented. It's not just because the Europeans look down upon this shit. If it wasn't the way, the Europeans would have looked down like, what the fuck is this? That's how a lot of WAR started, actually. Like, what you mean your women got power over here? They can say whatever the hell they want. Like, oh, you're a man, you gotta listen to your cousin. If you decided to go to WAR, right? You had to consult with the clan mothers before you could do that. And if the clan mother's like, nah, we ain't going, it's not worth it, then you can't go to WAR. But when the Europeans got over here and they saw that, they're like, what? They laughed. They were like, oh, you got to consult with your woman before you can do something important? And that's how a lot of WAR started. The men that like, he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? We going to take it into our own hands. Now, since you're disrespecting us in our culture.
Yeah. It's crazy work that you're a YTs set up there and try to take away their multiple like spouses and say, oh, that is ungodly. You're supposed to have a monogamous relationship under what our Lord and Savior says, which is you can't be with these multiple things because it's like temptation or what's the other word? Something like that, but
right. And then if we like, and even if we go like the first statues of gods being venerated are women, Big Mama statues. Who else venerate their Big Mama other than us? who are like, if you've seen these statues or these Big Mama figures, like these are some of the first. This is all over the world. These are some of the first statues ever.
Fertility statues.
Yeah, these fertility statues. Like who else venerate their Big Mama other than us?
I don't see that going on in Europe. They always talking about some pedophile stuff.
Yeah, like they on that weird ass shit. They venerating like what? Like Big Mama's is the first statue, and this is what people get confused. I'm not saying we should go back to it or not. Like we can find out whatever works for us in this modern time as well. I don't think we could go 100% matriarchal or 100% patriarchal in any sort nowadays, right?
Yeah.
But at least I can acknowledge historically in these societies, right? These matrilineal societies or matriarchal societies, men had a balance of power with the women. And that's what it is. It's a balance of power within it. Women just decided who was in power in the end all be all, right?
Yep.
Like 100%, like Matt, that's how matrilineal societies work. Because the balance, even if we go into complete balance in the androgyny aspect, right? The androgynous aspect, right, is still a womb man. We're the same entity we're the same entity separated in between both counterparts, right? If you speak about androgyny, you're still a womb man. That's what a woman is, a being with a womb.
Yeah. It's crazy how like fetuses are born with like, you know, vaginas, but they go into penises and stuff like that.
Exactly. That's exactly. We're still an extension of that source, that great mother source. That like if we go into like these occult, like these spiritual systems, that creator energy comes from a woman. Sophia.
What was that?
If you want to go to the Bible, Sophia. If we want to go to Mesopotamia, that's Tiamat. That chaos in like that chaos energy that encompasses both. When man and woman come together, they become the divine spirit, the divine womanness, which will still be a woman. like that's how you gotta get rid of all ego within this shit. Because the birth of ego is casted out in these creation stories. Men want the divine masculine wants full control. That's when ego is birthed out. And don't get me wrong, there's women that entice that shit as well, right? Once ego is birthed, right? You see the masculine counterpart turning on the feminine counterpart. That's how it plays out. Because when we consider like on an occult level, we consider masculine and feminine energy, quote unquote, right, which is left or right. Left or right, logic, emotion, right? You get logic, you get emotion. You get light, you get dark. And if you want to break this down on a scientific level, our dark light comes out of dark. It's not the other way around. Dark light, the universe is made up of less than 1% of light. Which we consider dark. Most of the universe is made up of dark matter or dark energy. Which just tells you how that energy works. What type of realm we're in. It tells you what type of realm we're in, what type of energies are working, that we're working with in this realm. Right? I might lose some folks with this topic. But it is what it is. It's got to be said. I'm picking it back up because I wasn't a part of the conversation yesterday. Like we can break this down in so many different ways. We can break this down in so many different ways.
What do you think about that guy from YouTube? I think he was talking about Aboriginal information a while back. He was talking about the spirit is a sperm or something like that.
The spirit is just energy, right? When we think about the spirit, right? Spirit is your breath. That's your cardiovascular system. That's your lungs and stuff, right? Now, when we talk about this reproduction, yeah, it's an energy that flows through all of us. We call it Reiki. You'll call it Reiki, right? In some things, you'll call it Chi in some cultures. You'll call it Reiki in some cultures, or Ki in some cultures. Right? We'll call it yoga. Like Mayans would call it yoga. Right? That's where yoga comes from. A lot of people don't know that. You call it yoga, or whatever your people call a spirit in their culture. It's a vital energy that passes through all of us. That's what spirit is. That ain't got nothing to do with no sperm cells. Because we all have a spirit, we all have energy. Whether we're
on like KT Arch degree or something like that. Man, it's been like years since I heard this dude talk about like things of this topic that you're speaking on tonight.
Yeah, we all have energy. So a spark, like sperm, we consider a spark within eggs. Eggs are around for a long ass time. Like people's grandmas have eggs of them before they're even born. Yeah.
So I think where he was going with this thing was like the sperm cell was like consciousness, in that it awakens the egg cell.
That's the light. That's the light beaming off the darkness. If you want to take it to that aspect, it's the light going through the darkness. Like the light, if you think about the Bible, let there be light. The light shooting out the darkness. That's the sperm going to the egg. That's the spark. It's the like I haven't really gotten too metaphysical in a while, but there's certain topics that like I think it'd be interesting to hear. Like and then if people talking about we're matriarchal right now. I'm like, nah, people still worship Jesus too much to be matriarchal. The black community is matriarchal. No, it's not. Is people still holding on to Jesus for it to be matriarchal.
Allah or Yahweh.
Yeah, you like folks are still holding on to the church for it to be matriarchal. People still appeasing the YT men for it to be matriarchal. There's too many people still doing that. Like shit, we uphold, like we respect our grandfathers, but shit, we mostly uphold our grandma's house. We going to grandma's house. You feel like we going to grandma's house, whether she's a single woman or not. We going to grandma's house because she's an elder. She's a clan mother. Yeah. She's a clan mother. She's passing down the oral tradition. That's what women, they pass down the oral traditions and the culture to the children. They're the ones that's telling the stories of the culture, how we did things, keeping the traditions alive. What's up?
What's up, Cook?
It's weird hearing women praise the man. Like, why couldn't a woman above? I'm an elder. Like, yeah, see, Creole girl's an elder now. That's a Creole elder. That's not even Creole girl. That's Creole elder. She's a matriarch. She's a matriarch. She's a matriarch in her family. All right, for sure. Yeah, that's a Creole elder right there. Two, sis. See, shout out to all the elders. We got to 7. That's an elder. She's an elder. Let me see if I can pull out like the Powhatan thing, right? Powhatan culture. Matrilineal Powhatan culture. Whirlwinds. And then the sister, right? We can read a bit of the Powhatan culture right here. The Powhatan culture right here. The Powhatan culture right here. The power in the town of Powhatan, a settlement located in the north banks of the James River. I've been to the James River. Below is the modern day Richmond. When John Smith met him face to face in 1607, the chief went by the name Powhatan after his hometown, even though he by then had been living in the new capital of Wircomoco. Smith guessed him to be about 60 years old, which suggests his approximate growth date was 1550. Nothing specific about Powhatan's early life. Among the Algonquin-speaking Virginia Indians, succession to the chief's status or whirlwinds was matrilineal, meaning that Wohan Seneca must have been the son of a sister of Powhatan whirlwinds, taking his place as chief on the unaliving of his uncle. Despite his status, his childhood was ugly. So it's telling you right here that the whirlwinds were the one. You don't even speak Algonquin. I just spoke Algonquin. I literally just spoke Algonquin just then. I just said some Algonquin words, dude. So if you don't get the fuck on, you know how many Southside Richmond all day. What's up, the hunger? I just spoke some spoken Algonquin word. A couple of them. You know how many places are named after the Algonquin in Maryland and Virginia? You know how many things are named after us in Maryland and Virginia? Mello is the modern Rosa Parks. What are y'all talking about, dude? Black Americans are not Indian. Come over to TikTok, James Boss. Shit, we can look at the Cherokee too. We can look at a lot of these tribes, see what their cultures was like. Matrilineal society. You can see how a lot of these 6 clans. The 6 clans who are we can look at the 6 clans or the 6 nations who are the holding. The society matrilineal and clanship attained through the mother. Prior to Oklahoma statehood, women were considered the head of the household at the home, and children belonged to her should be separated from a husband. There are 7 clans. Onalagi, the Oni, Onalagi, Aniasa. Yeah, I'm not about to butcher these right now. I'm not in the best mental state because I'm not Cherokee, right? Clan members are considered brothers and sisters. It's forbidden to marry within your clan. When seeking spiritual guidance in medicine, it is necessary to name your clan, and seating as ceremonial stomp that is by clan. Members of the Deer Clan. It's just going into that, but there's plenty of different stories. You got the Cherokee Phoenix, you got the culture. This is from the Easter Band Cherokee right here, the culture of the Cherokee, and things like that. There's multiple sources of this and things of that nature. And if you speak to the people of other tribes and stuff like that too, they'll tell you. And if you speak to the people of other tribes and stuff like that too, they'll tell you. But nowadays, it really don't matter. You can enroll under whichever, your mother or your father. The tribes don't really care. They're trying to get numbers and money. The tribes don't really care. They're trying to get numbers and money. You can say the same like the Yamasi. I talked to people I talked to some folks that are enrolled in Chief Sekou's tribe, the Yamasi. They said the same thing. Shit, even those natives, even the natives, they'll tell you something. So people just ain't making it up. Like, oh, folks is matrilineal. It's nothing to be made up about that. I go on a limb and say even the Europeans that came over, like Catholicism, they still uphold those matrilineal practices. And Catholicism, they fucking praying to Mother Mary. They're worshiping Madonnas. They're over there worshiping Madonnas and shit. The Black Madonna, to be specific, right? They're over there venerating Mother Mary before they even get to Jesus. And Kemet, the mother-son relationship with Aset and Heru. Come on, I dated an Eritrean too. She said, "Oh yeah, we're matrilineal." The Ashanti in Ghana. Like I dated an Eritrean woman. She said her folks is matrilineal. They got their mother's names and stuff like that. What we see now, people get this misconstrued or feel some type of way about it because they see how men are treated nowadays, right? How social media propagates and the media propagates a lot of things. Like that's some backwards ass shit. They take things and they propagate it how they want to propagate it, as long as they stay in control. People, we see them misconstrue and take a lot of things and manipulate it. What's up?
Yeah, I'm back.
For sure. We got A. All right, cool. What's up, A. Will?
Ready?
What's up?
I mean, I'm gonna answer the prompt. The first slaves weren't African; they were dark Indian tribes. So if the first slaves were dark Indian tribes, and I want you to understand, this is actual number. Only 300,000 Africans ever came into America, and they went to breeding plantations. They don't want you to understand what they call the transatlantic slave trade, which they're calling from Africa. Well, transatlantic only means that the slave ship came from one place and went back to where it came from. The first transatlantic slave trade was Indian slaves to Europe from America,
Mm-hmm.
with a transload being that it's coming from one place and going right back.
What's up, vegan? For sure. Oh, shit, I'll give you an even lower number. I will. They say it's only 90,000. The Africans coming through.
Yeah, but over 300 years, even over 300 years, only 300,000. That's only 1,000 a year. That ain't much, and most of them didn't live because they were sickly. They weren't
right. For sure.
And then the other thing that's the trip part. What about the indigenous people from Africa that didn't have no heads? The head was in their chest.
Hey.
Like Africans got a whole different lot of people that are originally from their lands that are documented, pictures taken of, and everything. They're not formed right. Something in their genes are not right.
Okay. What's up, Jackie?
That's the other thing that separates us, because we don't have people with starfish looking feet over here in Americas.
Starfish looking feet. That's a different.
The hands, bro. They don't have their hands are like they're like starfish. Their hands and feet look like starfish, and in the sad part, it's only in their men. Their women are perfectly fine looking, but the men are deformed.
Interesting.
And once you start doing your research and you're going to look at this, why they talk about certain tribes in certain states, because some of those people, and just like a lot of them Africans that they show on TV, they got stories of them not being from over there, being dropped off on a boat.
Cool. Yeah, what's going on, Jackie?
What about you?
I'm chilling. I'm just having this live stream.
Okay. Are Black American Indians matriarchal or patriarchal? Don't they rely on the Bible or something? I think they're patriarchal.
Who relies on the Bible?
Black American Indians or something like. I would think most of them are Catholic or something, right? Or Christian.
In modern times, sure.
Yeah, so they're obviously be patriarchal because in the Bible they put man as something of God, and then woman is have their worth tied to a guy, so it'd be patriarchal.
All right. So yeah, this is a layered question. So what about historically? What did you think? If you wanted to take a poke at it.
I guess again patriarchal. I just haven't seen a lot of woman leaders when it comes to Black American. What are Black American Indians? Afro-Indigenous people or
American Indians?
American Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are y'all Hoteps?
What the hell is Hotep? What Hotep got to do with America?
Hoteps is like Black people who think that they're the original Native Americans or something.
Where are you from, Jackie?
Alabama.
Alabama. Where your parents? Hold on 1 second. I got it. Where are your parents from?
Alabama.
Where your grandparents from?
Alabama.
What did your family say they were?
Well, if you want to go into history of
no, I'm not going to history. I'm talking about your family.
Genealogy.
Yeah, where your family say they were from?
Yeah, so my great grandmother, before she passed, she told me that her mother was a sharecropper. So mine's the descendants of slaves from West or West Central Africa.
Did they say they were from Africa?
No.
Who said my ancestors?
No, did your ancestors say they were from Africa? Or are you assuming?
I don't know. I can't talk to them. I just know that
I'm talking about your grandparents, your grandparents. Did your grandparents ever say they were from Africa?
Sharecroppers are from right.
They're sharecroppers. Hold on, I got this. Hey, I don't need no cheerleader. I got this. Sharecroppers don't mean they're from Africa.
Yeah, but sharecroppers are typically from freed slaves.
Freed from if the slave
freed
automatically
slaves.
Mean African?
No, but most
how did sharecroppers come from Africa?
Yeah, so most American. Did I interrupt?
No, you good. You got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most American like slaves came from West or West Central Africa. If you're talking about like something else, then you're thinking about indentured servitude from like Irish people, but that's not.
They were American Indians that were enslaved too.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
David Altis even said the owner of slave voyages. He even came out and said less than 1% of the enslaved populations were Africans. So where did they come from?
Who again?
David Altis, the owner of slave voyages.
David. Okay, let me look him up.
Yeah, he's come out and said that less than 1% of enslaved populations. Shout out to Topcast. Yeah, shout out to Topcast for interview. And he said this shit on TikTok too, or on a Pan African YouTube. I don't know. He said this multiple times.
Wait, someone from TikTok?
No, he's the owner of slave voyages that works with Henry Louis Gates, right? David Altis, David ELTIS, David Altis.
Like, here's the thing: the bloodlines were so mixed that you'd have to have more than 3 million Africans to make a dent. Because I want you to understand, at the time when they started the African slave trade in the late 1600s, let's say, not even late 1700s.
That like native. My fault.
I was gonna say there was documented or already being 300 million slaves over here in just the southern states in America. So you're letting people whitewash you with hate and making you think that you're African.
No, I checked my genealogy.
300 million.
How far did you?
But I'm just saying, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter
like
because
slave papers. Like
how far does your genealogy? How far does your genealogy go back? What's up, Dolph?
West or West Central Africa.
How far? Give me a year. Hold on. What year was your oldest ancestor born?
What year?
Family tree. Yeah.
What year I was like shipped? My ancestors were shipped out or something?
No. What?
I don't know.
On your family tree, right?
Mm-hmm.
What year is your oldest ancestor? What year were they born in?
I don't know. I can't track it back to that far. The only thing I can track it far to is like me knowing that, my folks were like enslaved and they were possibly from West or West Central Africa due to the slave auction papers. That's about it.
Slave. What year? Where were they auctioned from? Yeah.
Yeah, let me get it.
So okay, a slave auction. All right. What's up, Receipt Goddess?
I'm gonna just say this. You know why a lot of your genealogy is gonna be the same? It's gonna tell you Spanish, Italian blood, Central African blood. I'm gonna let you know this. If you look on the map and you go back in history, you're gonna find out that at one point in time, Africa and Europe were connected. Before the history, you're gonna find out that at one point in time, Africa and Europe were connected. Before the ANC and all that wasn't there. And once you go even deeper into today and you scuba dive under the sea, you see all these thriving big cities underneath the fucking water that's there. So if the land masses were connected, y'all sitting here saying I'm African, y'all look crazy as hell. Because if Europe and Africa were connected in the last 1,300 years,
crazy because I'm saying that my ancestors are African.
She says you got an auction record, so I'm trying to see.
But y'all look crazy because if Africa and Europe
rude,
are really
fine,
connected,
but I was like here for like a debate or whatever.
Look. If this is how crazy people sound, if Africa and Europe are really connected,
I'm not that. You don't see me debating with you.
I'm not debating. But this is facts. This is facts. This ain't no debate. This is factual. We talking about real life.
Bro.
Yeah. Africa and Europe are actually connected.
Who is y'all? Hold on 1 second. Who is y'all? You don't hear me talking to you, do you? So don't put me in y'all conversation.
I'm from the South, so I just use y'all. But like, I'm talking about like dudes about something that like people are like crazy or whatever. It
is crazy.
That's between y'all two. If you're African,
I mean, it is what it is.
One at a time, y'all.
Yeah, one at a time. Keep that between y'all. Don't. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You got white coloners that made the word Africa, basically created a country, named for a country that already had a name, And you don't think that they're showing that they knew that Africa and Europe are connected? They know.
Ready being rude. I'm just
at a time, y'all.
Yeah,
That Africa and Europe are connected. They know.
she gone. But she said she had she had an auction record. I was trying to see that shit. Yeah, she said she had an auction record in Alabama.
It doesn't even matter because guess what? Ain't no slave coming to America straight from Africa. What they did is they stopped them off in whatchamacallit, let the real Africans out, and they uploaded with what they were calling these new Africans that they bred with other Indians from other islands.
What?
Well, yeah. I don't even talk. But yeah,
it's the breeding process. Once you go and you find out what the breeding process was for the new African, because they couldn't take any more United States slaves.
Wait, what?
England and them had put a hold on the native black slaves from America, and the way for them to get new slaves was they went over to Africa, supposedly took 3 million slaves and started breeding them in the Caribbean islands, in the slave holds. And so what they were doing was they were breeding different.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Also, first in the chat, yo. I don't even know about that B word. Go ahead.
Okay, so when did this happen? What year?
So when they started what y'all call the transatlantic slave trade from Africa to America, that's what they were doing.
What year?
So from what I'm documented, it's the late 1600s, like 1668.
Right. So how was they able to go to Africa and come here? Because that's not even possible today.
Look. See, you're right. What they were doing was they was taking different people from South America and North America, bringing them to the Caribbean islands, and they were breeding them.
Well, before the Caribbean islands, they was on the mainland, correct?
On the mainland. Actually, no, both. Because when they systematically invaded North America, they started from Central America and came up. So, and that's with the Spanish. They actually started towards Colombia and then they came up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you notice, the Spanish conquered the whole west coast of North America before even the 1500s.
Right, because before all of this, I mean, everything was on one landmass. I don't know, because it's like when I look into continents and stuff, it's like they started creating continents in the 1900s, literally.
Like when you come up,
but see, they never talk about the people who came from. That's people that's not about the people who came.
I'm from Topeka, Kansas. When you go out to Colorado in the mountains and shit, they got monasteries that have been there since the 13 and 1400s, Catholic churches.
Oh, those churches were there before that. That's when they founded them.
So I want you to know that you look at the names of these towns, like where I'm from is Topeka, is an Indian name. That's out the Osage Nation. The Osage Nation are Black Indians.
Okay.
Documented Black
so
Indians.
We got somebody new, a few people.
Yeah.
Who was it? Didi who?
Didi Saracen.
Oh, Didi Saracen.
And then we got Mr. Darkside.
And I ain't gonna lie.
What's popping?
What's popping?
The Capitol building looked like it was dug up, not whatchamacallit.
Hold on. What's up, Mr. Darkside? What? How you doing?
Hey, good. Yeah, I'm agree. This shit was the Eastern Woodlands Indians was a matriarch. Now those Plains Indians, I think they was more a patriarch. But the Eastern Woodlands, all those was matriarchs.
Oh.
No.
Well, I think. Hold on, sir. Let me say this. Hey, the patriarchal. What year did that start? That started around like.
Well, patriarchal. The patriarchy started way earlier than what people give credit. So when you start seeing Brahmanism is when you start getting into patriarchy, right? That's the first time you see patriarchy on the planet. That's why when you look at when you start looking at like ancient society, like all the ancient cultures, although it was matriarchs, and that's was the time when you didn't really have a lot of wars on that time frame. Especially if you into like the mythology of Atlantis, that whole thing was like matriarchal right there, right? And this is why they said that the Americas was Atlanteans, right? Because at one point in time, you couldn't even become a chief unless the clan's mothers decided.
Right.
And she gave permission. This is why a lot of those treaties, like people say, those treaties are null and void because the clan's mothers didn't really acknowledge the treaties. And so because
they had no acknowledgement of the treaties. So like the patriarchal started around the conquering area or the conquistador area, right?
Hold on. Patriarch, hold on. If I'm correct, one of these means loyalty to the king. One of these means loyalties to the republic, if I'm correct.
What, matriarchal and patriarchal?
Yeah, one of them means loyalty to the king, and one of them means loyalty to the republic, which is the people.
I don't know about that. I know
the breakdown of the word. Yeah, one of them, the definition is loyalty to the people.
Well, not the definition, but like the root meaning.
One of them is loyalty to the king.
But I know, but the origin and root meaning, you know, that's different than the definition and the meaning, because that could be modern day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like patriarchal is more of like a man ran type of system. Matriarchal is more like the beginning. But what you were saying, because I was trying to, my bad, I was just trying to get a timeline on what he was talking about. A timeline on what he was talking about.
So that was like, so if you're familiar with the mythology or even the history of the islands of Mexico, islands of Greece, all these islands, you'll start seeing emergence of a lot of the women moving to these islands, especially El Helidores. I can't even pronounce the word. It's out of Mexico. It's the Mayan area where you have all these islands of women. This is where they found Ishel, the goddess Ishel at. You see her. So you see a lot of islands of women being like moving from the mainland into the islands because there was something going on where they didn't fucking like, right? Excuse my French. So you see that in Greece, you see that in parts of Africa, I think you see that in India, where there was a energy. So patriarchal, even though it's associated with masculine or males, it's an energy to it. Because patriarchal don't always have to mean male. It just means a system where if I'm in charge, let's say if I'm in charge of something, I'm subjugating everyone else. I don't care who you are. I'm subjugating everyone else. It later on become associated with men because most men, when we get in positions of power, we become egotistical, right? We become, if we in position of power, about to it's egalitarian. We think about everyone. All right, everyone gonna be in position, no matter who you are. If we see the right, let's say the right skill set, we're gonna put you in the right place. That's why there was different chiefs. You had female chiefs and you had male chiefs. It's just that when men start ruling shit, it was like ain't no woman chief at all. It's all man chief. And then we decided what we're gonna do with y'all, no matter what. So it's more of an energetic thing that's associated with this masculine energy.
There were never any female chiefs anywhere. Like, where are you from, Saracen? Where are you from?
I'm from Washington, D.C.
Where your family? Like, what ethnicity are you?
Why don't we address this?
Nah. We gotta figure out where you're from. Nah, you had grandma. Nah, where your folks from?
Misinterpreting what
where your folks from? Answer my question. Where your
Washington
folks
D.C.
from? Where your folks
Washington
from?
D.C.
And watch like who you get hype with, yo. Watch your mouth. Your mouth. Watch your tone.
He
right?
been here multiple times.
Yeah, like it's like if you from DC, your folks is from Virginia and the Carolinas. Like, don't play with me. So if you can't answer where your folks is from, then don't speak to me. You can't be on this panel. This is American Indian conversation. You're not American Indian. Get the fuck off the stage.
He said that there was no woman chief. There was woman chiefs, bro. I mean, the woman, the one who decided who was the chief in these Indian tribes. You got the clans mothers. The woman, listen, it's the woman who initiates you into a lot of spiritual systems. This is why the spiritual systems in America is different than spiritual systems in Africa. Majority of those spiritual systems in Africa, even though you might have a woman that might be in those spiritual systems, when you get to the top of it, it's all men. They the ones who gonna make all the big decisions. But when you come to America, you gotta have man and woman priestess and like different like high orders of systems, but majority of the time it's gonna be the woman. Remember, and even in hoodoo, who teaches your hoodoo? Your grandmother. Your grandmother usually be the ones that teach you a lot of the spirit. Take that herb. They're the ones who decipher dreams. I had a dream with the fishes. Someone's pregnant.
But like
I feel it. I have intuition.
Bro. They have a lot of Arabians.
Talking about some goddamn like, bro. We talking about America, yo. Get the fuck on.
Yeah,
like
they got a lot of culture.
You talking about African shit? We talking about American Indian over here, buddy.
I'm just saying they're Arabians.
Africa.
They're Arabians. They got Arabian culture because Arabians.
Okay, what's the Arabian culture?
Basically the men make all the decisions.
Yeah, they real patriarchal over there. They wipe their hands with their left hand side because the left hand side represents the feminine. And so when you start looking into
that's
the
what
code,
Arabian. That's Arabian taught. Arabians taught them that.
Yeah.
That's how
so
the
when
Arabians
you look into like the code or spirituality, that all that deals with the feminine because the feminine is the unseen. And so when you that's why you look at the Bible, esoteric version of the Bible, you see Eve gave Adam the forbidden fruit. That was just a way of showing that it's through the feminine you become enlightened into spirit.
What's lame? In America's anyway, yes they were, bro. It's like stop speaking on American shit. You not from here, yo. Stop speaking like if you don't know, if you can't name 10 tribes east of the Mississippi, I ain't trying to hear nothing.
Talking about in America, there were no female chiefs anyway.
Look, the Amazons were a real tribe out of California. Stop it. All women.
What's up? What's up, Fortune Cookie? Drop some from your tribal people. I already shared the Powhatan stories. Powhatans, you couldn't be a whirlwind or a chief. You couldn't be a whirlwind or a chief, right? Because whirlwind is the name for chief in Powhatan, right? You couldn't be a whirlwind unless you were appointed by a clan mother. Same with the Haudenosaunee. You couldn't be a chief if he wasn't appointed by a clan mother. All y'all know is this Greco-Roman bullshit. And y'all trying to project that onto other cultures. Like, who are y'all?
Culture, sir.
Yeah.
So what they mean by that is what makes would leave what men would leave, I guess, their family.
He's talking about
I know when they become adults and join their what? That's what I'm saying. That
because most men most men in the native tribe, once you became of age, you left home village and went to other duties. If you were a hunter, you went to a hunting tribe. If you were a gatherer, you went to a gathering tribe.
We're never gatherers.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that thing, wild clan, like children take on their mama's clan. Like you're raised by your dad, your social father, outside your biological father. Your social father would be your mom's brother. So your maternal uncle would be your social father. That's how it went. When folks got married, men went to they wives' family and joined their family, their clan. shit like that.
Because then, see, that's how you get to understanding what these natives do. They always got this rites of passage, just like these modern day Africans do, where they take the little boys off to try to quote unquote teach them how to be men, but it be a lot of horrible ass shit that go on over there when they do that. Well, that ain't our culture.
It was rites of passages for young men because how they view it.
Like, yeah, you're right, but not like how they. That's all I was saying.
Yeah,
not like how
they did. Yeah. I was just gonna say that because they view that when y'all women go through y'all periods or y'all cycles, that was y'all point of rites of passages, right? Because y'all going through a transformation from you can see the transformation from a child to womanhood through y'all cycles. Through boys, we had to be a little bit more different because we needed a little bit more, let's say psychological pain on our ass, right? So we had to go through everything.
It's like back in the day, a lot of people, I like to go to the origin of stuff and then see how it evolved later. At those particular times, men were the big number ones when it comes to, being at the homeland. You know what I'm saying? Like building big cathedrals and all this type of stuff and teaching the young boys, taking them with them to teach them their craft too. So like the women's were more, like I say, we're the overseers in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? Because we're receivers. We receive the energies and the thoughts and stuff like that upon time. So a lot of times the boys, they will go off with the women too. And they would teach them how to oversee. You get what I'm saying? Because that's why when you get like remember those ancient images of like the man in the middle and then the two Egyptian women on each side?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so like the woman on his left would be his wife, the woman on his right would be his mother. So like that's why you get the term, never let your left hand know what your right hand doing. You feel me? Because your mother will always be on your right. That's why the wife, the wedding band and all that weird shit came up after that. But yeah.
Also, he talking about there was no woman. What you think of Klan's mother? The Klan's mother truly lead the Klan. She's the Klan's mother. She just direct people to let's be the physical representation of the person who lead the tribe. But she really this how it is. Like, okay, she make you the president or the chief because she trusts your wisdom. They go, okay, we trust you to make the best decision for us. So we're gonna decide it. You lead, but she truly is one that makes like Big Mama. But she true, yeah. Uncles and them was running shit because if you did anything with the Big Mamas, but Big Mama really runs shit. Even though she might have her husband came in like, hey, you better do what she say, and he was the leader, but she truly ran it. She didn't have to really make a move.
The mother or the woman would set the laws and men would apply them.
Yep.
Pretty much. Yep.
Okay. Go ahead, A Will, whatever. Whenever.
That's what the whole Ellen Bay is too, though, in the Moor science. If you ever listen to the Moors, Els is the ones who create the laws and the Bays enforce them. So they take that ideology from the Americas. Because if you look at the goddesses on each bay, like Alta Bay from the Caribbeans, and Ishel El is from the Mexico or the Yucatan. They take those names, but they were really goddesses, and they just apply it to their science.
But why? I just got a question. Why did they move the Moroccans to New Morocco? Why they moved the Liberians to New Liberia? Why did they basically create new colonies all up and down the west coast of Africa and then tell us that's where we're from?
Good question. And where and why did they do it? Because as far as I'm concerned, let me be quiet. I don't think it exists. But
it's just funny because once you start doing your document research, you're gonna find out they took more American slaves.
Let's get a 10K like show.
and built new colonies over there than what they actually brought over.
Got this record that talks about from 1880 to 1930. How many million?
What's up, JC?
Hold on, let me find it.
What's up, Black American? But never what? Like, what the right? Y'all funny as like folks funny as hell. Oh, clan mother. What you think a clan mother is? Who said matriarchs don't contribute to decisions? Somebody in the comments. Somebody in the comments. Like, yeah, literally clan mother. What you think a mother is? Look at in Navy, we talk about Matrix. So folks always talk about we live in the Matrix.
You know, it's funny. It's funny to me that they got countries over in Africa, people claiming to be certain tribes, but they tribal language don't even have the alphabet letters to make them words.
Nothing like shit. We go in the Matrix, Mother Earth. Like, why would people think we big up Mother Earth? Mother Earth, Matrix, clan mother.
So it's just funny when you listen to an African tell you where you're from, what tribe you is, and then you go look at their language, you can't even spell out that word.
Yeah. Anybody else wants
click sounds to spell it out?
Anybody want to come up on the panel? Feel free. It's an open panel. Go ahead, receive.
Does this all the time. Yeah. You want to read that, A. Will?
Between 1880 and 1930, approximately 27 to 28 million people immigrated to the United States, making it the largest immigration in history.
Right there. You see that?
That's a chart.
Wild. I thought they said the transatlantic was the greatest migration story in history.
So they're saying that the YT settlers coming over from Europe was the biggest immigration. Because that's literally only.
And guess what? I'm going to show you. Okay, so remember 1880.
That's 50 years. Look, that's 50 years. And then everybody wondering why there's so many YT people in these states. Because they came. They came 30 million in 50 years. And it hasn't even been a full 100 years since they stopped that migration.
Hear me? Let me show you this. I'm going to go back to that. I just wanted to see this.
The push out is real. And the whole time that they were doing that, and here's the thing, the whole time they were doing that, they were dumping Black African Americans from United States and Africa. They actually, while they were doing 1880s to they started dumping massive freezing.
I got it. Because your background is going staticky. Okay, so when did Arab immigrants first come to America? 1880. The first wave of them, right? So they said from 1880 to 1924. Let me see. Y'all can look this up. I think this is on World History. Yeah. And you see who they looking at. I keep telling people before the natives that's on these reservations was wearing feathers, they were wearing hijabs and turbans.
because it's during the same time when you get the emergence of the Moorish Sons Temple, the Nation of Islam, all that time when you got those immigrants coming in over here from
Right.
the Arab countries.
And here's another key issue is like people would like to reach for the Yarrow and who else? Those early alleged African Muslims that was brought here in the 1700s or the 1800s or whatever. They'll reach for them, but how come like the modern Native Americans that are like converts to Islam never adopted Islamic practices from these alleged Africans?
They do.
They got it from these Arab immigrants.
Yeah, but that's who they are, because they weren't even labeled. You know, they basically self-identify as Native Americans, but we know what Native means. Now, as far as it being applied to a person, when you look into the history of them, I have images, I have documents that talks about the 1950s on how it was called. They wanted to find a way to solve their Indian problem, and to solve their Indian problem is to erase the Indian country.
Oh, do you have documents about like the Sikh, Punjabi, Coolie trade, them bringing in East Indians on the West Coast, and they married into
East Indians.
Yeah, East Indian people from Hindustan, Bharat area, and the Coolie slave trade, where they came in and married a bunch of these Hispanic and Latino people. And
what year was that?
This
was the same time them Arab immigrants was coming in on the
right.
A little bit older, bro. A little bit older. Coolie
and they were
right after the transatlantic slave trade.
Nuh-uh. He on point. It was around this time.
What?
Hello.
It's a bit older. It's a little bit older.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
I was gonna say, you're talking about the indigeneity of like the West Coast and Midwest Indians. You also have to look
What
at
you
the
mean
fact
West
that
Indians? No, I'm not talking about that. But go ahead, you can talk.
I thought you were talking about their heritage. I'm sorry.
No,
I was just gonna say, like, if you're looking at the East Coast and East Coast and or not East Coast, but West Coast and Midwest, you also had a large migration of Asian influence as well in their heritage lines.
Mm-hmm.
Influence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and you're
like
Caribbean too. With Kamala Harris family.
No, let
I'm East Coast native, and so I'm actually like registered to a tribe, whole 9 yards. But you know, there's over 1,000 tribes throughout the United States, and you know, only 497 of them are federally recognized because certain tribes claim that other tribes are not truly native. So my tribe, one of the tribes that I am affiliated with, actually is known for the fact that we were integrated and that we don't, like most of your East Coast tribes don't look like Pocahontas. They don't look like your stereotypical tribes. But if you look at the histories, you can see that there was also a large influence in the genetics of.
What tribe are you from the East Coast? What tribe are you?
Kohari.
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 So what did Pocahontas look like?
He's from
hold on 1 second. Hold on. No, hold on, A Will. What did Pocahontas look like?
Pocahontas?
Yeah, what did she look like?
Influence. She had hair. She had the higher cheekbones, which is more indicative to like your Navajo tribes.
No, she didn't look like.
She had the.
No, she didn't. That's my ancestor. No, she didn't. Yeah, that's my ancestor. Don't like if you ain't politic, like don't speak on her.
She was copper. She was copper color. She had very long hair. She looked pretty much.
She looked like Taraji P. Henson.
She
looked like Taraji P. Henson.
Well, for what it's worth, I've spent my whole life. I apologize. I live in the sticks. I've spent my whole life as a non-res native being told I wasn't native because I didn't look like Pocahontas. So I apologize because that's what I was always compared to.
And they ignorant as fuck for comparing, saying that stupid shit.
Because they usually try and poke.
I apologize.
It's fine. You're good.
You don't have to apologize for. for what they taught you. I'm just glad that you was able to share that with us. You know what I'm saying? We can keep moving on. But yeah, she was definitely not. Yeah.
Well, and if you look at most of your East Coast tribes, many of them have different features than what your Midwest and your Western tribes have.
That didn't really became a thing really until the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because we knew who we were. I mean, we still are the people today, the descendants of those people. They're just scattered about and not really knowing who they are. You get what I'm saying?
Other side, I was able to get back as far as the 1700s.
What's her last name?
Hunt, Hunt.
Oh shit! Oh, you got hunts. They go back far too. So you go back to Chowano, don't you? You got folks in Chowano?
Baby, I'm a Hunt. I'm a Simmons. I'm a Brewington. I'm a Jake.
Oh shit! You got a lot of.
So somebody out there saying all.
Oh my God!
All the people down there saying all the lying. They just don't know.
Wait, you said the Hunts, the Simmons. Well, who else?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, baby.
I can't hear you.
So my father was a Simmons. My mama was a Hunt.
Mm. Okay.
So you keep going further back the line. Like I was actually able now on my grandma's side, on my daddy's side, on the patriarchal side, I got stopped within the second generation. Like I couldn't get back past my grandma's dad. So the records are lost on him, which I could only get back to about 1868 with him. Now with my grandfather on my father's side, I was able to trace him all the way back to William Simmons, which was the first Simmons in the county that he lived in.
Yeah. Williams clan.
So
got some Seminole in you too, don't you?
I don't think so.
But not Seminole. No. We do not have Seminole.
Look, if you're from the Williams clan, you definitely got some Seminole in you.
Nah, she not even talking about a different region of people. Oh yeah, I was about to say her folks. Hold on, one second. She's from the Carolina, Virginia region. They ain't got nothing to do with them folks in Florida. They might be progenitors or something.
You know this.
See, but here, like you said,
no, we weren't.
Y'all met when they married.
We weren't progenital.
Hold on. We gotta let folks speak for their families. We ain't gonna put that. Like, hold on, one sec. Like, what they will, like, dude. No, let her speak for her family, dude. No, if she said they not similar, like Seminoles aren't the only. Yeah, exactly. So you gotta let folks speak for their families.
Okay, so yes, the other half of me is Lumbee. My mama's Lumbee, my daddy was Kahari. But I'm registered as Kahari.
Good show.
So if you further back into the 1700s, many of our tribe were actually claiming to be Croatoan.
Yeah.
Which was part of the Sioux language region, because we were not Algonquin speakers, and that's kind of how we can trace back our heritage. Is you have to look at the language categories of where your tribe came from.
Hatteras area.
Say it again.
No, me personally, no.
Is your family from the Cape Hatteras area?
No, my family's not from the Cape Hatteras. As far back as I could track,
you said
William, I could get him back.
Yeah, I know about some of them.
Now, William, I got back.
Wait, you said
I got back past William. It was no. His first name was William. Simmons is his last name. I want to say that William, I was able to get another 2 generations back from, and so they were kind of like what is now like the Dunn area, like the Harnett County area of North Carolina.
Wait, because you had okay, I'm sorry.
And then of course,
You had said I was trying to remember.
No, you're fine.
No, I was trying to remember the other three last names that you had mentioned, because you said Hunts and Simmons, and that's all I remember. But you said three more.
She said Jacobs.
So there's Jacobs. I had Simmons's. I'm a Brewington, a Jones. I have Oxidine in my bloodline.
Oh, that's the one.
That's my mama's side. Actually, it's really nice to talk to people that know this stuff. Like, I am really, really happy right now.
I actually spoke to.
Y'all have no idea how many arguments I get.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to John. John Oxidine at a powwow. So, I'm familiar with the.
Really?
Yeah, I spoke to him.
Meet Greg Jacobs?
Yeah, I think.
Did you ever meet Greg Jacobs?
No, I didn't meet Greg Jacobs. Well, I met John Oxidine for sure.
That's our current chief. For the Kahari tribe. My papa actually just got voted in and got to serve as chief for a couple of years too, because the Kahari reestablished their government back in like 1902, I believe, and they actually created a democratic voting style, bringing in their chiefs. So
yeah, for sure. But
it's just nice.
Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. You can finish.
It's just nice to talk to people. No, it's just nice to talk to people that actually know about the tribes, and instead of getting on here and having to argue about whether or not I'm actually native, it's just nice to have people say, oh yeah, no, we know those people.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm from my folks from Maryland and Virginia, and I got me Heron out of what's the county? Yeah, what's the county? It's Hereford. Yeah, out of Hereford. Yeah.
It's MEERIN, or is it the MIERIN?
MEHER, yeah, RIIN, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they married.
Give me a second. I think I remember seeing. Hold on.
Mm-hmm, you got it.
Well, I was about to say, I think I saw that name in my record that I was digging through. I have to sit down and write it all out explicitly so I can see who, where, what, when, why. But it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm familiar with like the high sir.
And
Go ahead. It might be a delay on her end. Yeah, it might be a delay on your end. It's all right.
I was going to also say, if anybody is trying to figure out heritage, another really good tool, and I know this is going to sound stupid, is actually ChatGPT. ChatGPT is able to pull and search all the records. It was able to find several of my family's names in the Freedmen bureaus too.
Oh wow! Okay, you got Freedmen.
So, are majority of people like copper colored, or
we're really varied. Honestly, some look like me, and some like they're just Black American, and we can all stand together for a photo, and it's just really funny looking.
What about my color?
Yes, baby. I have a cousin. Her name is the same as mine. We actually have the same first and last name.
Oh wow!
But our facial features are identical, except for she's your color and I'm my color. We are like third cousins.
That's some Indian shit right there. Having the same name, cousins having the same first and last names. That's some Indian shit right there. I'm not gonna lie.
I always say that because I was born first. That's why she took my name. Yeah, her papa were brothers.
You said what?
So no, maybe we're second cousins, or maybe we're second. Hold on. I'm trying to think, because I want to say that her papa and my papa were brothers, which would have made our daddy's first cousins.
Okay.
No, so then we're second cousins.
Yeah, I know it can get confusing. Yeah, y'all second. Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean we.
So on your daddy's side, so you said papa, meaning your dad or your grandpa?
My grandpa.
So your grandpa and his brother is what you was talking about, not your father, right? So
Yeah.
that makes y'all third, because that's not your father and your father's brother. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay.
So your grandfather is more what, dark complected? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather was darker complected. My great grandfather Percy was real dark. Like back before segregation ended, like even my uncle, so my dad's brother, who was 11 years older than him, he's about 70, 72 now. If I'm right, it's kind of an estranged relationship, to be honest. He actually went to the East Carolina Indian School for Indian children before they provided integration. And so he was one of the first to integrate into the public schools in Sampson County from the Indian school.
What year was that? Because only reason I'm asking because we have a flux of our genealogical records, to basically say that they're us. And so I was just trying to clear the air, just asking questions to see what's going on. That's all. I don't mean no harm by all these questions.
You can ask other questions. My uncle's name, I can't give you the year it happened. You can ask me all the questions you want. I can give you my uncle's name. I couldn't give you the year it happened, to be honest with you.
Right. And you said
these are things that I'm still
okay. So you had met your great grandfather.
Now Now I can tell you, you can look up my grandfather. My grandfather, Romy Gaston Simmons, he was the first salutatorian for the East Carolina Indian School.
Say his name was?
His name is Romy Gaston Simmons, ROMIEGASTON Simmons. That was my grandpa. He was the first salutatorian for the East Carolina Indian School. And that is public access information. It's actually something that I show my students. And it's funny because I actually didn't get to grow up in the community like I wanted to because my daddy was Army. So I grew up in Baltimore. And then when I had kids and my husband and I got tired of it in 2016, we moved back down here. So I'm now teaching down back in Sampson County. So it's very exciting.
You taught here in Baltimore? Did you teach in Baltimore?
No, actually, I was a social worker in Baltimore. I was a social worker in Baltimore.
What part of Baltimore
I did career placement.
What part of Baltimore are you in?
Well, we lived in Dundalk.
I can see why you got tired of fucking
right
Dundalk.
off of Eastern Avenue.
Yeah, I can see why.
It's a small world after all.
Yeah, Dundalk different as hell now. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is it gentrified or something?
It smelled like shit, and there's a bunch of immigrants. That's what
I was a career placement. It wasn't always that way though, but it did always smell like shit. Like we had the toilet bowl between us and Essex to see who had to claim it.
Yeah, Dundalk is mostly YT people and Latinos now. So
yeah, but I heard
and
that.
We used to call it.
Oh, go ahead.
City hillbillies. We called them the YT City hillbillies.
Yeah, it's a bunch of white trash and Latinos out in Dundalk. So yeah.
Well, I heard y'all got some good ass crab cakes though. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie.
if you want to come to
Yes, they
Baltimore,
do.
yeah, we do.
Gotta go to Jimmy's. Gotta go to Jimmy's or G&M. G&M is really good in Lithicum. But a lot of people don't know where that's at because that's not really in. So, but it's kind of funny to kind of come in here and find people that I might even be kin to.
Yeah, it's
just kind of making those connections.
How Darvin attracts his own relatives back to his own circle.
I think I might be real. I think I'm related to the Hunts. I think I gotta make sure. I know some people that I know the Hunts go tie back to like the management and stuff like that too. So.
Well, I'm looking at your nose and I'm looking at my nose. Do you have the Hunt nose? Because that's kind of the joke.
I don't even know. Yeah, I'm related.
We call
to
it the.
What does it look like?
Like mine, it's kind of round and short.
I know. I might be confused. I think I am related. I'm a descendant of a tree. I can't lie. Excuse me. I know.
I just started digging up.
Mm-hmm.
I just started digging it up. So like you, I've got to actually write it down and be able to say, yeah, no, I'm a descendant of directly blah, 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 blah. Because I want to be able to do that, you know, like I know my direct, like I know who my papa was. I knew who my great grandpa was. But a lot of this history has died with my elders as they've passed and nobody wrote it down.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like,
and I don't want to give my DNA to ancestors.
For sure. Yeah, it's definitely interesting with how like especially like a lot of like historically a lot of folks like Eastern tribe like after a certain point a lot of the Eastern people like free people of color that's on the East Coast like North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, maybe not Maryland because Maryland stayed a little chocolate, but like Virginia, North Carolina specifically how like different people look like variety wise and phenotypes. Because there's people that look like there's people that look straight up European that were classified as people of color in North Carolina and Virginia.
Yeah, Heather Locklear, the actress, blonde hair, blue eyes, pasty. I got babies in my family that are blue-eyed and blonde-haired.
For sure.
So
what do y'all got to say about Edward Norton?
Man, I mean, that's more. I mean, if he's probably the descendant of the fucking Ross and shit, probably.
Yeah.
It's blonde hair.
Probably the descendant of the fucking Ross and shit, probably. But I'm a descendant of her melanated side. So.
Hi, how are
What's up, Thunder?
doing? I'm a truck driver, and y'all may hear a lot of noise, but I was just wondering how do you go and get the information because I'm part Indian, but I get mistaken for either Jamaican or Haitian. And my granddad he was Blackfoot.
Blackfoot. Where's your granddad from?
Florida.
Florida? All right, yeah. So with Florida, it's a lot that goes into Florida. Florida can be tricky too. Because a lot of folks migrated to Florida and then a lot of the records are with the Spanish records in Florida.
Well, I got a lot of Simmons in my family. I got a lot of Jones in my family.
Simmons is a Blackfoot name actually.
Gilbert's.
Yeah, Simmons is a Blackfoot, like the Okanichi Saponi. They have the name Simmons in their lineages, like the Okanichi Saponi in the Carolina and Catawba. And they were considered Blackfoot. So
yeah, my granddaddy was he was full Blackfoot and he had dark skin and really, really silk curly hair. And my twin cousins, they look just like him. Me, they tell me I look either Jamaican or Haitian.
Do you have any lineages that's going back to like the Caribbean or people that were enslaved and brought to the Caribbean, or what's the deal with your?
I have no idea. Listen, I wasn't trying. This is interesting to me because I just ran across this page, but I never really tried to find out. Like I had a hard time in life, and like I wanted to get away from all of that.
For sure. Yeah, I was the best thing I suggest you is to talk to your elders, whoever's your oldest people in your
Well,
family, and get.
All of them are passed. Like my mom,
Okay.
my dad, my grandma, my great grandma, all of them are passed.
Okay. You got any older siblings or anything? Any aunts, any uncles?
Just my brother.
Okay. Any aunts and uncles?
Just yeah. I do.
Any big cousins? Any big cousins?
I don't talk family because
You know, she's breaking up.
I was treated as an outsider. I said I don't talk to family because I was treated as an outsider. Like they sold me to a Hispanic at the age of 8 years old. So yeah, they did.
I can see why you wouldn't want to talk to me.
Deserves that.
So in these rare situations, honestly, I don't. In these rare situations, I don't know. How would I go? Go ahead.
I was about to say, Darvid. Is it Darvid or
Darvid? You can say Darvid or Darvid. It don't matter.
Darvid. Thunder. I really didn't know my family lineage back to my great grandpa, and I just started looking up their names on ChatGPT, and I knew my family history because on my daddy's side, because I grew up in my community-ish. Like I would spend the summers down here, and I always considered this life, even though I grew up outside in another state. But when you have at least a decent knowledge of at least a few of your grandparents, you can start plugging it into ChatGPT, and you just keep prompting it and say, okay, well, we have this person who was this person's parent. You have this person who was this person's parent. And like I said, just last night, just sitting down for about an hour or so, I was able to dig all the way back to the 1700s and found out so much about my family that was never spoke about.
But I'll try that. I'll try that, but I don't be around my family. I haven't been around my aunts or uncles on my dad's side or none of that.
Have you been to the National History and Archives Center in Washington, D.C.?
No.
Your local registry and vital statistics office?
I did one time, but I turned around.
Well, that's the best place to also look up genealogical records. All you have to do is just have your surnames organized, and it'll take you back. Like, as far as the genealogical paperwork could take you, like the colonial period and the antebellum period. So if you have those antebellum period, so if you have those surnames, or you can make an account with Ancestry. You don't have to take the DNA test portion, but if you're looking into insights of a family tree, you can look that up with Ancestry, where they offer, like, because they get records from the Mormons and people that hijack people's genealogical records and
I was going to my I was talking to one of my uncles on my dad's side, but every time I try to talk to him about it, he would always bring up having S with me, and I couldn't do it. I had to leave him alone too.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like when my mom sold me to the Mexican, I didn't know. No, when I got away from him, I had to learn everything on my own, and that wasn't something I was thinking about. I was just trying to figure out stuff in the world. I had 2 kids. I got away from him at the age of 25. It was like I didn't think about only free.
That's crazy. This is just now entering my head. Like, it was this somebody SA trafficking or
No, my mom was a
adoption
very
for adoption or
no, my mom was an alcoholic, and she used to, like, when I was 7 years old, her and her friend used to take me down a highway, and they used to make me run, and they would shoot at me.
What
Then,
the? Whoa! Wow!
then at the age of 8 years old, going on 9, she told me she hated me, and the next thing I know, I was living like a grown person with a Mexican. And he finally told me when I turned 19, you're not going nowhere because I paid $50. I didn't get to
She's breaking
school.
up right now.
He sent me to school 1 year and I was pregnant. I say I'm sorry, I'm driving. He sent me to school 1 year. He sent me to school 1 year, and after that year, he took me out and locked me in the house. I hadn't been in the house. I had to learn how to survive on my own, basically.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I ran away from him. I got a 14, and I ran to my grandma, and guard, she finally said, yeah, you can come, but it's my cousin deal with us, and he would come in the room and say every night, and I asked him, who made him stay out my room? He do things I don't do. And when they finally caught him, every ITC in the book, I was nasty. I ran away from him again, and they found me and took me back to the Mexican. I went through a lot, coming up, but I thank God for bringing me through it because I wouldn't be the person I am now. But I just want to know about my dad's side of the family. I was always told by my granddad that I was part Blackfoot.
Right.
I'm driving, y'all. I'm in Florida and it's been hailing up here.
Oh man, you be safe.
Yeah, I'm trying to. This weather. Oh my God.
For sure. Anybody else wants to come on, feel free.
Oh,
come on. What's up to you?
You can drop me, but I'm gonna go on that website that you told me to go on, and I'm gonna find some stuff out.
All right, for sure. You take it easy.
Okay.
What's going on, Venus?
Yeah, thank you for your contributions. What's up, Venus? Hold up. She said, hold up. Hold up, wait a minute. What's up?
What did y'all get out of that? What Thunderstorm was talking about? Because that was tragic. It sounded like something out of a Tyler Perry movie or something.
I mean, that's our family. People go through that in real life.
It's crazy.
Ain't too much about this. That's her story with her family. That's her life story. Ain't much to think about.
Bro, I feel like I just watched The Color Purple, no lie.
Yeah, bro.
That's how I feel inside. Like my heart just.
I'm sorry to hear that for the goddess, but I'm just glad that she up working. You know what I'm saying? She ain't letting that. That's what you call learning from your past, and you know what I'm saying. That's strength right there.
For
A lot of
sure.
people gonna come back from that. But she doing good, driving, and she gonna make it safe. You know what I'm saying? It's just, yeah. You know, I was just I almost crashed out. I did a good job, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Woo wee.
I just
Woo-wee.
want to know, did Mexican Mister ever, wrong his right? Right is wrong. I just want to know, did he ever do right by you?
Who?
Oh, she
You know
gone
what?
now.
You know what? I ain't got time for you, bro. I'm thinking this nigga. You know what? Oh, I wish Venus came up here earlier because I'm like, oh my God, like
What, yesterday?
normally, no, just now. Because I almost crashed out.
Look, I
God. I
feel
was like,
bad.
what Simmons? Oh my God.
To me, that sound like a small world. Like, yeah.
Bro, no.
Who
Hey, but
is that?
y'all did good because
She hit every name in the gumbo.
Who is that trying to force Williams to be a Seminole name?
Huh?
well, before this, well, you know, they had got together they was like, we want our kids, you know what I'm saying, type of energy. They got together.
Actually, in
what the
Florida,
Mormons were doing.
In Florida, the Williamson plantation is the biggest plantation in Florida.
It's the what?
Is the biggest plantation in Florida, the Williamson.
I mean, I have Williamson and Williams on my tree. They're from Virginia. They ain't from no Florida. So I'm trying to figure out why he said that name is a Seminole name.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out.
I'm just gonna say this.
That's probably the information.
If the Williamson plantation made its money from the buying and selling of slaves, you don't think they had slaves?
No, they had indentured servitude, bro.
You don't think they had slaves that came from
Listen to what I'm saying.
The Virginia?
See, a lot of people forget about our history. We didn't come from no. Well, you already know that. So it's like what do you mean? Okay, you do.
Oh, you was talking about breeding earlier, so.
Huh?
You was talking about breeding farms earlier, so I don't know.
Right. I'm like, wait.
There's no breeding farm.
I don't know. He said slaves. So I was like, where'd they come from?
You talking about the Palenque system and Code Noir. I don't know about the.
To me, slave just means you're owned as property.
Right. That means you're working on it.
I know there was trafficking going on in like the Madame Lalaurie stuff, but I don't know about.
There's no proof of any breeding farm. Like, what is going on here?
That shit happened in them caves with the Moroccans.
Hey, yo.
The Vatican.
I don't know about.
There's no proof of any.
Back, Mr. Darkside.
Answering the background.
Yeah.
I feel like our community is mad misogynistic, but it still makes you cool.
I want to speak on the enslavement, right? Y'all right, they wasn't enslaved, they was prisoners of war. Now, everybody wasn't a prisoner of war. Some of them was family working on their land. But there was a lot of us that did have, like, I got prisoners of war on my shit because I see how much they cost, who they got sold to. They are Alabama. So everybody ain't got the same history. But my family on my father's side, I knew who owned them. The Conwells out the Carolinas on my peoples, out of Alabama.
Yeah, you know that they had actually intertwined enlistment and enslavement together. So, you know.
See, that's the thing. When they made, you got to realize they changed
the enlisted or the army or whatever, and they were labeled as enslaved.
The names on how they conducted
things, or freed people, or
what the government had it listed under. So in the states, when they created statehoods, like when they started creating the statehoods after 1772, different states had listed slavery as different things. In the 1772,
no, they went back into history
once they created America, they started relisting. When they started creating the statehood of the United States in 1772, they started doing state laws, and depending on what your state law labeled slavery as, whether it was indentured to, POWs, that's what the state did, but it was still slavery.
I feel like if you're not related to the people and they pass your family members down like objects, that's slavery to me. I don't call it indentured servitude.
Yeah, but it just depended on what state you are. If you're from an uppity class statehood like North Carolina's, Virginia, they're gonna have it named something different.
Oh, excuse me. What is he cooking? I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about. But if strangers own your family members and they can pass you down like property, I don't call that prisoner of war, or I call that, or indentured servitude. I call that slavery.
But that's still prisoners of war, because where they get their slaves from? They got to be a prisoner of war. Because slavery,
they're slave, but you're saying it's not slavery, so
it does fit the definition of slave. It's can't. If you look at Kent's
you know what?
of the 1800s,
You know what
they asked him, because he was a lawyer. He was a philosophy lawyer, right? A law. They asked him, "How do you become a slave in America?" He said, "There's 3 ways to become a slave in America. Either your mother was a slave and you was born through her, or you fought a war and you lost and you became a prisoner of war, or you sold yourself into slavery. There's the only 3 ways. The only way you could be a slave in America was your mother. You was born through your mother and she was already a slave, or you was a part of a prisoners of war, or you sold yourself into slavery. There's no other way you could be a slave in America."
I think people went back into our history, took our records, just like Walter Plecker did, right? Took our records, just like Walter Plecker did, right?
I said 12 years a slave, don't say that.
Huh?
I said 12 years a slave, don't also say that. They were kidnapping freemen and making them slaves.
if you sold yourself into slavery, then you're not a slave. You did that on your own free
They
will.
didn't sell.
I'm talking about if strangers own your people, not your family members. If strangers own your people and they can pass you down as property, that sounds like a slave to me.
Exactly.
Do you know what
that's what was happening?
That's a POW. It wasn't.
Do you know what a
No, they didn't list them as that. Okay, look, let me explain, because I see how our history can be changed. I see how narratives can be pushed, right? Now, y'all know when Walter Plecker went back into our records in the 1900s, that's basically placing the black to a race was not the only thing that he did. When you look into history and you hear about the military and all this stuff, it's like, oh, well, you know, black people was trying to enlist to the army and they wouldn't let them do it and this and that. So they gave them no weak jobs. And that shit was not applied to us because we wasn't even labeled as black at that time. Do you get what I'm saying? The people who were blacks was definitely not us. It were the Europeans and the so-called Middle Easterns and Moors, right? So when you understand that they were doing this kidnapping on the low, right? Starting from the 1400s, they was doing this shit with the Roman Catholics and these religious. Like the transatlantic slave story. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, when I say slave, I don't mean.
No, I ain't talking about you. No. I get what you're saying. That's why I'm backing it up because she's right. What's the name? Joseph Smith, dude, which that wasn't even his real fucking name. He was the leader of the Mormons, and they were literally a part of Unaliving Us and stuff doing the Trails of Tears. They started their little organization in 1820. You get what I'm saying? And in 1880, they started, religion. 1980, they started, religion, doing horrible shit. And that's what they called them, Indian agent police. All right. So they were helping us and then taking, cheer and, the other word. They were taking and then taking, cheer and, the other word. They were taking KIDSs. Is either under the age of 7 and some that they took under the age of 10 and they would sell them to other Mormon homes over to the West. Yes, I got that documentation too, or they'll take them up by Canada. That's the same story and stuff that happened to Nova by the people who I guess claim to be Moroccan, but back at those times they were doing Canaanite rituals. That's all I want to say, y'all. That's all I want to say, y'all.
Whatever their mascot is, and like I'm from Kansas. KU is a big one.
They were called Jayhawkers. And a Jayhawker was actually somebody who used to round up Black people and sell them back into slavery. And a lot of these people that they rounded up, they said that they were runaway slaves. No, they were just Black people that they didn't like and didn't want them to prosper. So they just rounded them up and sold them back to slavery. A lot of these people that they sold back to slavery were free men, and they didn't sell themselves into back to slavery. Some of these people had such things as maybe a runaway R.
Let's talk about some runaway shit, right?
Or a scar.
Well, how do a person run away when you took them? You know what I'm saying? And then, have y'all ever heard of the enslavement of indigenous people over in the Ontario and Ohio area, starting in the early 1400s? Did y'all know that that area right now?
You mean 1897?
No, 1997.
Oh.
Look it up here.
Like I said, transatlantic slave trade,
it makes pointless because there's only 3 months of passable seaway between hurricanes.
I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day,
it take 12 months. It take 12 to 13 months on a
yeah, we know that shit, but bro, it's
sailboat.
Because when you look into who was responsible for implementing certain books into our history, and why were they implementing fictional books into our history, that's what I want to know.
Hey, I'm still trying to figure out how they talk. Hey, I'm still trying to figure out how they talk. It didn't start until they started bringing over Africans. That's crazy because we was the first Africans.
The flux of Africans didn't come until. Okay, look.
No, we was the first Africans that they were.
No, the fuck we wasn't.
Yeah, we was.
Sir,
we
Africans were white people. Hold the fuck on. I'm not African, and we weren't the first.
Look. From what even the Middle Eastern Arabians told us, when they say African, it really means African. We're talking.
No, it really means Afrikaners.
No, because they didn't change the name to Africa until the 1700s.
Sir, listen, it was called Africa, right? Now, when that whole terminology came about, they were talking about, they were talking about the city of Tunis, right?
They didn't change the name of that continent.
Why you keep yelling? I'm trying to explain something. What the fuck is going on? It's okay. I'm just trying to explain something so we can exchange information. Maybe we can help each other. Maybe it's something that I don't know, but I'm just telling you what I know, right? Starting with the I, Africa, was named for the city of Tunis, and the country of Tunisia was named after the city of Tunis. Where is the first place that was labeled Tunis? It was in America, okay? You got Tunis, Ontario. Look it up. Okay? Now, when they were trying to apply this to a people.
Look, the people that even said this, and just like with Harold Kumar, they make fun of this. The Indians, the Arabs that once ruled over this
They were never Indians.
Whatever you want to call it, the Arabs that ruled over Africa, what you call Africa today, they'll even tell you this. The YT settlers renamed it that.
Wait a minute, hold on. YT settlers.
The YT settlers, when they started because it's just funny to me. When they started the African slave trade from Africa to the Americas, even on textbook, they even tell you this is when they changed the name of that continent.
Sir, hold on.
Wasn't called Africa. It was Garden. It was Eden.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. And the Garden of Eden is in Ohio. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So because the reason why it's in Ohio, because that's where the four rivers connect.
It's
so what I'm saying is
in Zion. It's over here in the Osage Nation.
Where?
In the Osage Nation is Zion.
I mean, where? Like, what's the state?
That's here in the Kansas, Arkansas.
I know that's what they said. That's what the Mormons said, that they believe that that area was the original Garden of Eden. But when you look into where do the four waters connect? And
right there in the Rocky Mountains.
So peep game. Four waters connect. And
right there in the Rocky Mountains.
So peep game.
Yeah, and then just like in actual facts, the Rocky Mountains is the oldest place in the world.
No, it's not. It's not the oldest place, but I get what you're saying.
No, it's the oldest place. They've already geologically, on the History Channel even came out and said that. Rocky Mountains are the first thing to pop up out of the ocean. Yeah, and then, just like in actual facts, the Rocky Mountains is the oldest place in the world.
No, it's not. It's not the oldest place, but I get what you're saying.
No, it's the oldest place. They've already geologically, on the History Channel even came out and said that. Rocky Mountains are the first thing to pop up.
For people. I keep trying to tell people, okay, so look, before we became states, we were literally countries. Continents didn't start becoming a thing until the 1900s. I literally have proof of that.
Just like the Middle Eastern said, when they changed the name African comes from African. It's just saying dark.
It comes from the Romans.
African. It's just saying dark.
It comes from the Romans. States. We were literally countries. Continents didn't start becoming a thing until the 1900s. I literally have proof of that.
Just like the Middle Eastern said, when they changed the name African comes from African. It's just saying dark.
It comes from the Romans.
Dark tone people. Also, what you know as the Moors. Persians were dark tone.
Fighting forever. That's why I don't fuck with them.
No, we weren't fighting them.
Sir, yes, we was. It was.
We were
look up the Moor in Indian War.
Look. We were the Persians. We were part of the Chilean Empire.
Who was we?
Our culture.
No, we
no,
weren't.
that's to everybody.
Some of them mixed in with our people. Hold on. Some of them mixed in with our people.
Muslims.
Some of them mixed in with our people, but they're not the same as us.
Yeah, because everybody keeps forgetting about the Moor bloodline. And then people want to go with this other ideology, like they was here building shit. No, the motherfuckers came. They have so many names. They're really the Romans. They're really the Afro-Caucasians. They're really the ones who created and birthed these recessiveness. Talking about the Moors went into Granada, Spain, and this and that. First of all, they was over there in that area, 1492.
And Moor don't even mean nothing for real.
Hold on. Huh?
I was gonna say Moor don't mean nothing for real either, because multiple groups were called Moors.
More.
It wasn't the Moors that went into quote unquote Granada, Spain. It was the Muslims.
But the Muslims aren't Moors.
There were Muslim Moors and Christian Moors. So
what I said was.
But they're Arabs. The Arabs are the Muslim.
Arabs are Persians and all of that, right?
No, they're not.
Sir.
These
are what you would call Middle Eastern people. These people are inbred. Let's keep that one.
Look.
This is for entertainment.
And just like when, hold up. And we'll do it even when Leonidas and them came, even like Leonidas says, he has a Chilean empire and he's coming from the east. When they went and they dismembered Leonidas, he came back here to America and they dismembered him. They took him to each part of the nation. No. See, that's the loss of Leonidas is the beginning of them invading America. Because as soon as he lost over there in the Persian.
Same shit. You know what I'm saying? So the crazy part, two types of stories, right? You got them talking about, oh, King Tut and them and all of that. Then you got the whole understanding of what? Around that time, 1333? You forgot?
Not 13. This is the didn't really conquer nothing. They just beat
the Greeks, bro. You talking about the Persian Empire and how? Like, listen, I'm a stick to, because I don't know Egyptians. I'm gonna say this right here. That's all I'm gonna say. Those things are not over here. Did we give birth? Because those are colonies. Yes. What was over here was over here. These are not Egypt. This is not Rome. Did we go over there and bring civilization over there? Of course we did. There's books about us coming from the Americas, going over there and giving them civilization, right? But because you can see them in like certain archetypes over here. But that shit wasn't over. That shit was over there. Egypt is over there. That's Egypt. This over here was
freaking word.
well, if you want to say it, that place is over there. We just gave, that's a colony from over here. That's why they always come back and look for us as a colony. But that's their personal shit. They just got their royalty, their bloodline come from over there, the royal bloodlines. But that whole culture, listen, that shit over there, we gave them that shit. Let them have it, because
right. Because when you think about the lands that have flooded, right? Mind you, it wasn't that long ago. When did the little ice age start? Wasn't it around 1300?
12 to 13,000 years. Well,
no.
Let's 12, 13,000 years ago.
1300s. That's the little ice age, right? So
about the little small ice age of Europe.
No, the little ice age period.
900 BC.
1300.
That'd be like 900 BC.
Listen,
two different ice ages.
Listen, y'all. I figured out when it comes to the year, right? We're not all in the same year, because if you look up every ethnicity, when you look up the years, it's different. But when you look up eras, right, you will get the starting of the time frame. So trust me, if you look up when did the little ice age begin, it's going to say 1300s, literally.
It's because the ice age they talking about was in Europe. They talking about
but Europe is here.
Yeah. That's what. Well, so when you
I get what you're saying. I get. Yep, you're right. So that's what I'm saying. So that particular area was up by Canada, correct?
Oh no. So yeah, they say that. I haven't looked into that. I'm more talking about over there.
Okay, for instance, you know when they talk about Beringia freezing over and all of that, basically like Canada and half of the Americas was what they say underwater or frozen. That shit was a lie. That's why they try to make it seem like when they came over here, nobody was here but them. Like, what? Do y'all get what I'm saying? I even looked up what was the degrees the day that the Bering Strait and all this shit happened. 10 degrees? Yeah.
Well, they're talking about, there's two different, and this is from what I know, there's two different forms of ice ages. You have the large ice age during the time where you have the Sphinx was created during that time. That's during the time of Leo, right? When we was leaving out Leo into what's that? Virgo. This is why when they looked over there in the excavation and over there in Egypt, they found watermarks. And according to the watermarks, that Sphinx is older than what people give it. That's doing
exactly
like 12, 13,000 years ago. So it was building that prior to because remember they going off of the age, because each age is like what 22,000 and some years. So we talking about a year time frame when we was leaving out the zodiac from the east sun. So that's like 22,000 years or some shit like that, right? And so they looking at that like, okay, they was creating that in that time frame in the year of Leo. We are in the year what? Aquarius. So that's, and each year, procession of years, what, 22,000 some years?
Yeah, but they go forward. I mean, they go backwards. You know.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I get it. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Then they go backwards, and so when we seeing that, and they saying that's the one, because it's like multiple ice ages. This is according to science, right? Science said it was multiple ice ages. The smallest ice age we have is where we see over there where Europeans was at, right? Because it got so fucking cold and the sun was blocked out that they really was fucking starving over there. That's like the smallest forms of
right. Sounds like yeah, because I don't know why the fuck they keep saying, oh yeah, we migrated over here around 13,000 years ago and all this. That was a fucking lie. Because that's when you look into when the Hyksos invaded quote unquote ancient Egypt and Moses. But Moses and them story is not even that fucking old.
I'm gonna just say this: when you go back and you look into Spanish documents tell you the reason why they invaded us. We were producing a lot of food. We were producing so much food that we had already started taking food over to Africa.
Yeah, which is the case. Go ahead.
And the people that were creating our food, they're still floating around in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on these large man-made islands.
Yeah, they're underneath. That's why I'm saying, like, mind you, this is the place with the oldest pyramids.
But right? they're not underneath
some of the most.
These people. No,
So,
you have to go back and look in the Mayan text. It's they had sharecroppers living out in the middle of the ocean producing crops on these man-made islands that they float on. And these people
man-made islands, that's lakes.
No, it's not lakes. They're man-made islands that are made out of different plant-based materials that these people live on. And these people are known for their diving skills and being able to hold their breath for almost an hour underneath water.
Right.
And these people, they produce a lot of crops, ancient crops that we still use today.
Right. So what I was going to tell you, right, in order to be the place with the oldest pyramids, right, and some of the most, you have to be able to have water somewhere, right? They never talk about the Mediterranean Sea of America that's underneath us. I have documents of Christopher Columbus' signature where he used to get his water from. We have the most freshwater springs in the world. You know, when we look into how, you know, we got underground cities and we got, I mean, these people have built on top of buildings. I mean, the deepest place is basically CHINA. Literally, because right now, what is it? It's about 9:46 in New York right now, but it's 9:46 a.m. in China. As above, so below. That's all I was just trying to say. So when you talk about the planting system, go ahead, Venus.
I was gonna say, and I think China is the only country that has a similar landscape to the USA.
Exactly, because a lot of these places that like right now, since it's been raining so bad, what has been like y'all been seeing the news, right? Or these people have been flooding. It's like they're beneath. You know, we got big sinkholes that go to nowhere, man's land. Like that's the earth. That's the we on a man. Look, trying to tell y'all, we got 45,000 caves. They call them caves, but more like canals and, you know what I'm saying, in these tombs and shit like that. It's like these people was the itsy bitsy spider.
That's what Sasquatch lived at.
Man, for real. But there is proof of that shit. That's why I say if we go back into these books and read these stories, I get it, just cool. But when you can actually place a land and stars and shit to that, it's no debating it.
Land, stars, and quasars and shit.
Yeah, like they say the North Star, but we know who was responsible for changing the Qibla, which is Muhammad. Because the North Star says right above Texas. I'm just saying.
A Polaris?
He said
the stars at night are big and bright.
Polaris, you talking about Polaris? When you look at the video, you see the stars rotating around Earth, not the other way around.
Yeah, but you know, when you actually find the star that like sits directly above, that should be something different.
You know, it's fun. I just want to say this. You know, it's funny to me that they create a stigma about a place to make it bigger than life itself. That's actually a badland that they turned into a reservation. And then they spent 100 years to try to figure out how to trick people to move to that reservation. And it's working. Like they're moving people to Texas at an alarming rate. And and the whole state's a reservation. Whole reservation. It's a whole reservation. Originally given it to the Apache and the Cherokee. It's a whole reservation.
The Navajo. Hey, but look, Pete gave though.
For real.
I know. I'm saying, like, why do you think they built over 90,000 dams?
And there ain't no water, ain't no fresh water going to Texas. And they done tricked all y'all to move to Texas.
It was.
What part of Texas you talking about? Because East Texas is where people, that's why you see all the indigenous people. You talking about West Texas, where there's desert and shit. East Texas closer to Louisiana.
Yeah.
East Texas. Ain't no fresh water once they cut off Lake Texarkana. Y'all ain't got no fresh water to
You talking about Texarkana?
Yeah. And like you said, it's dammed up. It's dammed up right there.
No, they got fresh water. It's more greenery when you get to the east. But I get what you're saying. And that's the part of that dam system. You see, why do they want the West Coast so dry?
I'm telling you. Look,
to be digging uranium, gold.
They want to try to dig uranium and gold. You need the water to flush out the toxics.
Huh?
You need the water to flush out the toxics. They dam that up because
that's what I'm saying. But why do you think they need the West Coast so dry?
Well,
to dig up shit. Because that's why he, you know what I'm saying, the Navajo Nation tribe, the one that's right where quote unquote Mecca is. You know, by the forest, you know, the four corners.
Stop lying on Texas, my boy. Do not talk about my state. Stop lying on us.
Hey, he said stop lying on Texas.
Look, y'all dry.
You dry ass lying on my state. Stop lying, boy. Stop lying. Keep my state out your mouth, boy.
Look.
Just playing with her. Stop it. Man,
What is Kansas?
Look,
out there to subtropics and get out of
hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, he talking to that we was pimping them cowboys out. They had to bring all their cattle all the way up here.
What are you talking about?
You just out there to subtropics and get out of
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, then we created the Barbed Wire Act, so they couldn't bring their cattle. So they couldn't bring their cattle.
He can say too much inflammatory
What is
shit.
this, Texas? Boy, what are you?
The whole time you've been up here. Like, drop some fruits in the chat, y'all.
Boy,
where you been?
I've been eating. Well, you've been yapping the whole time you've been up here. He would take a time out here.
Yeah, but on the background, I think we have a patriarchy problem in our community, but it's still matriarchal somehow. We got misogyny, but we still matriarchal.
We might struggle, but you know we got the pants.
But yeah, I made this because it was a topic last night on my live. I missed it because I was watching. I was watching wrestling. But go ahead.
And you can tell because the men be like, our women won't submit to us. I like white tea women because our women won't submit to us. That's not. We're not supposed to be doing that. Like what?
Yeah, them Proud Boys been quiet lately.
You got remember.
Huh? Go ahead.
You got to remember, a lot of times you're dealing with people who they might not be indigenous. They might have a European mother or a European father. European father.
Man. I'm talking about American men with 2 American parents.
Well, just because they're American, I mean, you got to look at the bloodline.
Indigenous people. So what are you talking about? Just because they're American don't mean
saying because there's a lot of people that be acting like they Americans because they were born here, but they're literally speaking up for us.
In my family, that doing it. So no, there's fully American people doing it.
No, it's not like it's not unknowing, but he's talking about that story, basically that topic that nobody talks about. How we got people that come over here and act like us.
But I'm just saying I don't like when people do that. When I speak on an issue in an issue in our community, and people try to make it seem like it's barely a thing and it's just foreigners.
No, it is.
I don't like that.
It is a thing. It's a horrible thing. But people forget why he said that. People forget that when that happened, and okay, basically what led up to that? It was that women's rights. It was the Pan-Africans and stuff doing mass incarceration for our melanated men. You get what I'm saying? Like, man, it was all types of shit going on that, you know what I'm saying? They came out with Charlie's Angels, all the women who were independent and all this weird shit. While these people came up with CPS, like they put DRUGS, like everything was targeted against the melanated American man. Now, I'm not using this as no excuse, but we do have people over here that pretty much cosplay like they're us, but they have these topics that's really dividing us. They are the ones who started that shit. You know? And then for instance, y'all know when they be talking about how the Europeans, how they were like gross back in the day and how they was throwing, pee out the window and wearing high boots. Those are the people today who, I'm from Britain. You're not indigenous to America. You don't know where you're from.
You don't know where you're from.
They dark complected. They boy.
You. How you do? You are not from America. You
have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Venus, you remember last time I talked to you? I said we need to work on our accent.
Yeah.
We have to work on your accent.
Yeah, I just seen our men get online and be like that with that word loud and ghetto and not submissive. Like that, since when is submission a part of an Indian culture? Like, what are you talking about?
That's only applied to not us.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't be wanting to get rid of white tea people. They be wanting to replace them on the hierarchy and take up their exact talking points.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was about to say, all that submit, like only certain level dudes complain about the submission.
Bro, that shit came with them Moroccans and shit, them Arabs too. Cause I'm like, who? I be getting cussed out on this app by men. I be like, damn.
People are Christian and stuff. That ain't from us, so that also plays into that submission stuff.
Man, yeah, but y'all be seeing it. I expect it, but I be all type. Yeah, but the women need to stay in their place, and you know what I'm saying. This is a masculine energy. Like it's masculine. It means you. No, the fuck it don't. That should be weird, bro. Like them Christians scare me. I don't know. I ain't scared of shit, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like them. They be like, man, no, the father built it. He did everything. He created Eve. Like, how? What womb did he come out from Adam? Fuck. Do Adam got a wound? That should be weird. No, my bad. I'm just.
No, that's why it's only so like they niggas listen to all this manosphere, red pill babble, because they be incels. Only incel ass dudes be complaining about this shit, in my opinion. Like they complain about it all the time. Like they have a rough time with women, and they have yet to find themselves. So they listen to any and every fucking body on how it is to be a man instead of just I don't know, look at your dad or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what Venus was just talking about. Because it's like, when did this become a thing for us to be submissive and shut the F up and all of this stuff?
Yeah,
I think that happened with that, yeah, but it's like these people planted and pushed that stuff into the prison system too. It's like these religions, all of these religions throw away the woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's Christian.
Family is Christian.
Yeah, I think that's most of us.
What type of Christian are they? They're like Protestant or Baptist?
Non-denominational.
My family, they're all Catholic, but on my mom's side, they converted to 7-day Adventism or whatever.
Oh wow, I talked to someone on Twitter before. That shit was funny. I talked to one of them on Twitter. That shit was hilarious.
My people was Baptist.
But my 7-day Adventist family, I don't know. They don't really. They just go to church on Saturday instead of Sunday, and you can't watch TV after church until the next day.
Man,
but other than that, they act like any other distinct Christian.
But it's like, why out of all religions is the Christian one or the Catholic one without a wife, or the Catholic one without a wife? One like they say the nuns, they have to be virgins, and priests can't. Like, well, that shit's weird. They're talking about Jesus had no woman.
Nope.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. He was 33 years old. He just the only thing they talk about in the Bible is when he was born and then when he was about to transcend.
Figure out why my family practice Catholicism. Most people in the USA do not practice. Most Black people, they don't practice Catholicism.
I don't get it.
Because Catholicism was like one of the first things folks converted to in America over here. So
it's
like
divided.
Usually when I meet a Catholic that's melanated, they're from Latin America or something. They're never from the USA, really.
Like the first, I know the Pascal were the first people in the United States to be converted to Catholicism, and in Louisiana they were converted to Catholicism and stuff like that. So everything over there was.
Yeah, my dad's family is from Texas and my mom's family is from Louisiana, and they're both Catholic.
Yep, in those southern states, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess makes sense because one was owned by France and one was owned by Spain.
Yep.
They're both Catholic.
The first Europeans that came over here were Catholic.
And most of my French ancestors come from Virginia. So
I switched it because I'm gonna get. Can I get on the big screen for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. We got it.
I don't know how to. For some reason, I can't move myself.
I got it. So there ain't no many people on here anyway. I just need people like that.
Yeah, I was just saying, since the French were Catholic, and I was looking on my Louisiana side. Most of my Louisiana side goes back to Virginia. A lot of it doesn't even go to Louisiana. And most of my French ancestors on my tree aren't from Louisiana. They're from Virginia.
Oh, why do they do this? Let me see something. Maybe if I
Uploading it to Instagram story, and then I zoom out, and then I save it and put on the thing.
Yeah, TikTok's so weird with the formatting. Like it's been 5 years. Y'all can't find a way to set that to a default thing where people can see that shit.
That'd be crazy. Okay, so they say, yes, it is common for Native Americans, including those living on reservations, to adopt what? Or retain American Indian last names. Various factors: assimilation policies, trademark, cultural what? Pride and identity. It's giving bed bugs. Oh my God. The practice of adopting or retaining American Indian last names can be a way for individuals to connect with their heritage, express their cultural identity, and maintain a sense of community. Oh man, this is wild. Driving.
I don't think my people came with the Trail of Tears because none of them went to Oklahoma. None of my people are from Oklahoma or ever lived there. So
I don't know. Because back then it was named America too. It's weird. Let me see what else do I got here. Okay, hold on. Let me see.
People came to Louisiana during the Trail of Tears, and the people that were already there before, I can't find their names. So I think they maybe have French or Spanish names, and they were turned into English names because their records just stopped. That's the only explanation I have for that. So.
So they say, while there might be cases of individuals, including those of Arab descent, residing on Native American reservations and adopting or associating with Native American last names, there's no widespread trend or policy of Arab specifically adopting American Indian last names or reservations. This is because the practice of adopting last names is primarily tied to tribal membership. Whoa.
Name myself Pocahontas.
Oh, I couldn't believe she said Pocahontas is a mestizo girl. But do y'all see this? This is because the practice of adopting last names is primarily tied to tribal membership and cultural traditions, not necessarily to residency or reservations. So I guess I didn't answer the okay. So I was just like, wow, oh my God. Yeah, no, I like to.
Isn't a mestizo a European and an Indian? Isn't a mestizo a European and an Indian?
Is a mestizo a European? No, they're mixed within, like the British people do. So she said,
know what you mean by mestizo, like the modern day pale Mexicans, or like just European and Indian?
Nope, they keep it all in the family. So this say, by 1900, Native Americans adopted the custom of adding surnames or family names after their personal or first names. Also, by this time, many use names of non-Indian origin, and a number of names of Indian origin were translated from the native languages into these. Like, stop fucking playing, right? I pulled that up for you. It's two people trying to come up. Bye, man. Oh my.
Is this one of them? Is this one of them pale skin people and pale face people?
It's two people trying to come up.
Oh, brother.
Whiskey,
won't you go
I'm
away?
First Nations all the way. What are you talking about?
Whiskey, won't you go away?
I mean, squatter rights.
What? Squatter?
They'd be like, "Oh, I've been here this long, so I can squat area." That's what it's First Nation.
No, I'm First Nations. We've been here forever. We taught you guys. The only reason you guys are alive is because of us.
Oh, brother.
Oh,
brother.
Before whiskey,
we had to teach your masters how to farm and plant, how to get rid of scurvy.
He ain't talking about nothing.
Right.
Squanto, bro. Squanto.
Go ahead, Haley.
No, I wanted
You're
to
not. You're pretendian. Stop.
Man, goodbye,
I feel like every time he get drunk, like he let me go on a lot on TikTok and see, like that's like a thing. Clearly.
Right.
No, I just wanted first of all, hey Receipt Goddess and Venus and Darkness. I wanted to answer the background. I don't know how long y'all been on live though. I'm pretty sure y'all probably said this, but obviously, you know, we are matriarchal. Just because like I was more scared of my mama growing up than my dad. Like my dad didn't really like do too much. Like if it was anything that I had to ask, I had to go through my mom. So she was but like I do feel like maybe at some point there was a balance, because like when it came with most of the stuff, I did have to like go through my mom. But like when it came to like dating, as I got older and stuff like that, I did have to go to my dad for things like that, or my mom be like, ask your dad. So like I don't know if that would be considered a balance, or it's just more of a matriarchal, and then the man reinforces basically.
Well, I read that matriarchies are usually more balanced.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, okay. So that itself is a balance of, okay, I got it. Okay, that makes, so patriarch is something that's imbalanced.
Yeah. You saw the world run now.
Well, yeah.
Matriarchies, there's a place for men and they're valued, but in patriarchy, it's not the opposite.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. Okay, well, that makes sense. Then, yeah, definitely, I'm sticking with that then.
Yeah, it goes against the divine order. The divine order is the matriarchal order. And
right.
Yeah, pretty much how she explained it. That was perfect.
Okay. I really didn't even know that. I just know I was scared of my mama. That's all I needed to know. Nothing else.
Yeah,
I do feel like in other cultures, like I don't know if they're called, but I think that they're like patriarchal, because like I would see the man was more valued. And I think I heard y'all talking about it earlier, how like a lot of the women have to like bow down to the men. And like that never happened in my household. That never happened with my grandmother. Like it's embedded in my generation, I feel like now, because men like that I deal with, or like that that I see, or even like on social media, they're wanting to be like the prize. Or I don't know. I didn't grow up like that.
Most of us didn't, which is why the men are getting on TikTok complaining, talking about that women need to be more submissive. That's why they like white women, because they're submissive. That's why they get online saying that.
Oh, boo hoo.
Yeah, I think that started by European ideology, because those same dudes is real quiet right now, because the nurses started speaking out about how these people have been going to the Philippines and going to Brazil, and 70% of them come back with that triple letter word.
You can see the dynamic in our women that are, I don't know, they want to be submissive. They be putting men over their children and stuff like that.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, when you look at how the reason why, a lot of Africans and stuff come over here, I mean, they leave their parents, like their mothers, their wives, and their children there. And the crazy part about it is they live by a patriarchal. So it's like, you shouldn't even be allowed over here.
And then the women that follow patriarchy, they be making their sons their husbands, their son husbands. It'd be real strange.
And then they be doing child, marriage or whatever. To child for educational purposes. Patriarchal is dangerous.
Ooh, it's dangerous for sons.
That's
and
the Vatican and the P. Diddy shit. Straight up.
It's definitely. I feel like patriarch doesn't allow men to hold themselves accountable. Like they think they can say and do everything. So I feel like that's where the accountability comes from with men and women, like in that dynamic, like in that relationship. Because they feel like they're over us. They don't need to apologize. She'll get over it. I don't need to say anything. They'll know. They know what I'm thinking. Like they know I didn't mean it. Like I feel like it's ego driven.
Like, oh, my mom put this man above me. I'm like, that's patriarchy right there. Right there.
Yes, they do that a lot. I feel like I experienced that too as well. Like a dude I was dating, he would be telling me like, my mom and my sister didn't cry. What? Like he would, so when I would get upset at something that he would do, like he'd be like, that's so weak. And it just be like weird. Like they like to take whatever they grew up in their household, and they like to bring it. If it was like dominated by like a masculine energy, they like to soak that in and then project it. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little deeper than that, but it's just no accountability. God damn, I almost ran over damn armadillo.
Yeah, what's up, Uncle Leroy? I mean, Uncle Ruckus.
Uncle Ruckus was an anti-African. I couldn't be Uncle Ruckus.
Oh, can you read the what's on the big one?
Let's see this. Is it a receipt? Receipt guidance?
Yeah, can you read this?
The practice of non-Indigenous people living on American Indian reservations adopting last names as a part of a broader effort to assimilate into mainstream American culture began in the late 19th and 20th century. Roughly about the late 1800s and early 1900s, a period saw the use of surnames American names in English.
Ooh.
More details. Yeah.
What do you think that's about?
Oh yeah, we know that it was folks in Virginia that were doing well. They didn't have reservations then, but like in Oklahoma, oh, most definitely.
Oh no! They're talking about specific people. Let me show you who. Let me show you. Okay, so these people, when they came around, right? They were these people, right? They were police. Hold on, sir. Hold on.
No.
I only showed you one picture. I haven't even got to the. I'm gonna have you read it, okay? So him, right? Let me show you, right? Okay. Now, here we go. Right here. Oh man. Okay, so you see what this say, right? Afrikaners, right?
Yeah.
You see the color of their skin. I got a better picture for you, right?
Yeah, but he didn't look nothing like them. They look totally different.
I got you. Yeah.
They look totally different.
You're right.
No,
right. I was just showing you a variety range. Matter of fact, let's go here. Right? Matter of fact, let me fix this a little bit. Hold on. My bad. Let's go here. Okay, can you see them better? Mm-hmm. See those mestizos?
No, those are Europeans. I'm looking at, especially the girl in the front.
Afrikaners, bro. You don't see that?
Yeah, but they don't look like the first picture that you showed. That guy.
Oh, I got you.
Look nothing like him.
I know.
Looks like them with shoe polish on.
He was an Indian agent.
No,
right?
He didn't look like him at all. He didn't even have the phenotype as them.
Sir, I have proof of this. I keep telling you. Okay, so, this is around the time when they started what? Naturalization. After WW2. You know what I'm saying? So they started to pretty much kind of like self-identify as us, you know what I'm saying? Around that time, that's, you know, in order to basically be naturalized or go have a naturalization certificate, you got to be a foreigner, right? So let me show you that. Matter of fact, she got hers. She happy. See what I'm saying? There you go, Uncle Ruckus. TikTok, this is for entertainment, educational purposes only. No hate speech, bullying, harassment, discrimination.
You showing two different, you showing two different.
No, I'm not. Just hold on.
I don't think they're the same.
Okay, look, how about you just not lie? Can you do that for one day?
Because like that's for her.
Sir, I'm gonna pull up. I'm pulling up pictures. I'm pulling up pictures, and I'm pulling up documents that come after this. Okay.
Yeah, it's random pictures though.
No, it's not random pictures. Same thing.
You compare the Native American.
That's not a Native American. They self-identify as Native.
They look totally different.
Sir.
That's why you won't go back. Even this lady, she doesn't look like a European.
Yeah. Now you know he don't be letting nobody talk, and you know.
Yeah. He always on some musty behavior, and I just wanted the world to see, like, maybe if he would like finally admit that he's an agent, then that'll probably help. But then, as long as he continues to do what he's doing, I just want the world to see.
That old agent stuff is so tired and played out. Calling us agents. Like, I'm not an agent, right? I don't go clock in. I don't.
Well, I mean, you
speak not necessarily an agent,
but I kind of get it. I kind of get why he be so, you know, strong-willed on the natives, because you know They come from the same bloodline. I feel
No,
it.
we had a panel. We were on a panel last night. They were like, they appreciate me putting up the fight, and they were asking me the origins of the aboriginalism. So I went back, especially to Malachi York, because it's really where
Malachi York ain't start shit. Why do y'all say that dumbass lie? He ain't start shit.
Because you were too young to realize
I wasn't like nigga. My grandma is older than Malachi York.
Mine.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
How old were you? How old were you?
My grandma was born in 28.
How old
before
were you?
Malachi York. So what the fuck? My grandpa was born in 1914. Before Malachi York.
Bro,
saying they were Indians.
You were born what? 1998.
97.
Okay, so Malachi York got locked up.
My grandparents were born before Malachi York was even thought about.
I'm not taking that from you. I don't say I don't believe you on that.
Like, shit, like, why do y'all say this goofy ass shit?
What did he say about Malachi, New York?
He started the Indian movement. Like,
York.
what the fuck?
Wait, he said he started what?
The Indian movement.
No, he did not.
That's crazy.
What? Why would you?
He just be saying stuff.
Y'all just be saying shit.
But I do want to explain the Asian
Yeah,
thing.
Pan-Africans are the reason that Malachi York even got fucking big anyway. That's y'all problem, not ours. My bad. Go ahead, Haley.
I want to explain the Asian thing. Like,
oh, we got our historic up here.
People think so physical when it comes to words they will use, and a lot of this shit be spiritual. When we call you an agent, it don't necessarily always have to mean you clocking in, taking down names, putting in paperwork. It's a spiritual thing as well, meaning you are sent here to be against us. You probably don't even consciously know that, but we know it because we are conscious. We are living within our ancestors. We're living here on earth. We know this. We can feel things.
You
like
put me
that.
back on the big
Spiritual. That's spiritual. You don't have to be clocking in and writing down our names and shit to be an agent. It's spiritual.
Crazy. Yes. Let me show these people. Ain't money, ain't. Oh man, what a wonderful day. So what I'm going to show y'all right now is a few indigenous people that they tried to erase, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you for showing that picture.
What's wrong with this picture, sir?
Thank you for showing that picture.
Express yourself.
So, let me go to my camera real quick, right? All right.
I can't wait to
see this book right here. This is Santeria Enthroned. That picture that you're showing comes out of this book. I can turn to the page where that picture.
Go to the page. And what's the name of the book?
Santeria Enthroned by David H. Brown. It's actually a great book.
When did it come out?
This book came out. What was this? Let's see. He's an anthropologist. He does great work. He went to Oyotunji.
What year?
I'm trying to look for the year on here. Hold on. Let me set this down. Let me see.
2003. Okay, so what about the book? What about this picture?
So I'm trying to turn to the page where the picture is at.
Are they trying to say that they're African?
Well, yeah, that was during Carnival. So,
but a book that came out in 2003 versus a photo of Cubans in 1860.
They got the photo.
What's the point of your effort? How do he got proof when he created that in 18? Boy, he created that in 2003.
The only reason the picture is in circulation is because of the book.
Sir, no. The reason why it's a circulation. Yeah.
Hey, that's Carnival? What? Tell me an
No,
African.
No, he said the book that he got talking about this picture right here is Africans, but his book was created in 2003.
It's from the.
These are the Mayans.
They was doing.
These are the Mayans. They were in Cuba.
That's in Cuba. Yeah, that's not.
But
no, First of all, I said what I said. I said that they're Mayans in Cuba.
You said this is them around Carnival, right? Carnival, what they practice in Cuba, right?
What?
She never said that.
I thought you said Carnival. I thought he said Carnival.
No,
I
he
said
did.
based off Carnival.
He did because he just assumed when people are dressed up like that, it has to be, carnival season instead of it being that's their attire. That's what they wear.
Even in Carnival season, that's indigenous attire. No Africans practice
to America.
So he's reading a book about Santeria. Let's put that together. They're gonna Africanize that. They do it with every other spirituality. Everything's
No, he didn't. He went down there and actually interviewed the people and got the picture from them.
And they indoctrinated just
and
like
those ain't the original people.
In 2003.
No, those are the people. The families.
Stop.
The families.
Stop.
See the picture.
Stop. See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, y'all.
Families.
Let me tell y'all something. See, one thing that he don't know is that these are Mayans. Okay, these are Mayans, and they were in Cuba, and that's the crazy part about it. They were still on the mainland. He don't even know where I'm going with this because I do have documented proof. Now, with the documented proof that I'm speaking of, is talking about when Cuba was in New Mexico. Okay, and you see after WW2, when I was just showing him the naturalization of the people holding those certificates and stuff, how they went over into that area. In 1945, July 16th, they had dropped it in UKED and destroyed a whole bunch of historical buildings and everything. And they have pyramids underground in New Mexico. But it was just so crazy how Pan-Africans had that conference in 1945 too.
I'm on the page right now with the picture.
In UKED.
Let's see.
Let me ask, what African culture dressed like that though? There's no African culture that looks like that.
Look. So what does it say? What does that picture say?
I'll have to read it to you.
Okay, read it.
Let me see where I can start at. Oh man.
Listen,
the finery of the Cabildo queens included puffed shoulders, flowing gowns and petticoats, jewelry and large umbrellas, as documented by the Spanish costumbrista painter Victor Patricio de Landulus in his 1878 painting of the Day of the Kings in Havana, which is during this time. Many of these aristocrat details of Cabildo display were in fact imitations and borrowings from the most immediate source Afro-Cubans had available to them. For example, as Fernando Ortiz noted, the expensive silver-pointed hardwood staffs of the Cabildo kings and the luxurious dresses of great parvasos of the Ethiopian ladies of the court were often loaned by their masters. Ortiz, 1920-1960. So let me just read
by their masters.
Hold on, what he say? He said they dress.
So if you look at the
like Ethiopians.
Hold on. So if you look at the drums, they mention the drums right here. The drums that are sitting on are the Congo and Goma style drums, the yuca and the makuta.
What do you think Cubans are?
They're Afro-Cuban.
They're Congolese. Stop.
No, they're Congolese and Yoruba. They make a few
y'all heard that? Go Cabana, the melanated group. What are you talking about, bro?
I can sing a song.
That has nothing to do with Africa. Spanish, right? Has nothing to do with Africa.
No, it does. It does.
It don't. It don't.
What is Ndoki?
What is
Ndoki? What does Ndoki Malo mean? What does it mean?
These people is crashing out.
I'm just asking. I'm talking calm. What is Ndoki?
Because I'm black, y'all. And I'm black, y'all. So I'm thinking this dude is crashing.
So say what it means.
No, y'all know it. What does Ndoki? What does Ndoki mean? What's Ndoki?
Oh, you said you know it, but what do Ndoki mean?
Ndoki. Wow. What does it mean?
And Ndoki is a Congolese term for spirit or a negative spirit or a witch.
See what I'm saying? And what is a witch?
Can you pull that up? That's the Congo. You said the Congolese?
Yes, Ndoki comes from the Congo. They have a forest called the Ndoki Forest.
These people love to Africanize some stuff.
Oh wait, was
I mean,
did
I don't
they
understand
send
why they
they
would
sent
name
Cubans in slavery to the Congo? Did they? Who was that? I mean, what's that brother name? Because he do a lot of research on that shit. Because I know a lot. I know a lot of. Yeah, I think because he did a lot of research.
Yeah, your bars is going in and out. Your bars.
Now, I wish he was still here.
Huh?
But he throws information out that they sent the Cubans.
Oh man.
No, they went there in the 60s and 70s when they were fighting against the other groups there. And they said, what's his name? What is the president that passed away named Fidel Castro sent them here during the army, but they were taken from those areas. That's why when you go to if you're in Cuba and you are initiated into Apollo House or Munanso, they have different Munansos that represent the different tribe coming from the different tribes that were brought to Cuba from the Congo.
Those Palo spirits are not indigenous to Cuba, though. If you look at the Palo spirits, Mamo Chola is not Congolese. That's not a Congo spirit. Only thing I'll give you this. The Nagisi, the Nagisi that's used in Palo, that's a
What's that? What is that?
The Nagisi is a spirit. Those are spirits.
No, they said that you mean an Nkisi.
Ngisi, whatever you want to call it, but Ngisi in Palo is the cardrone. That's the cardrone they use.
The cauldron. So the Nkisi before they use, and I don't even want to talk about a lot of
what
stuff.
What they make the Nkisi dolls out of?
The Nkisi, they used to make them out of dowels in the Palo. So in the Palo,
yeah, what materials they make them out of?
Huh, you said what?
What material they make them out of?
They made them out of wood. They made them out of
what material they make them out of?
They made them out of wood. They made them out of tree, like they carved it out of wood, and you use metal nails.
Metal nails.
But they couldn't use those over in Cuba because they didn't want them practicing the African tradition. It was taboo. So what they would do is they would take the pots that they cook in and fill them up with certain things and make an Nkisi out of it, or they use it before it was in the Nkisi. They use it in like turtle shells, sacks that they would hang up. You know what I'm saying? But the sack will wear out over time with all the stuff that you add into it and all this material in there. So they start putting them in the metal cauldrons.
Here on the big screen. Yes, Native Americans are considered political Indians because their identity is primarily what defined, which is considered a sovereign political entity with a unique government to government relations with okay. Let's go to the next one. Wow, political. That's wild.
I did about 4 videos on it. This is they're beautiful, beautiful feather crowns. The ones that you see on all the emblems. They're beautiful, beautiful feather crowns. The ones that you see on all the emblems. You want to see them?
I'll go feather.
Yeah, you can put these ladies up. Put these beautiful ladies on the screen.
Have to do with Cuba though. Everybody feathers are all over the world.
Well, this is
there's feathers all over the world.
Who's masquerading the Congo today?
From Africa?
Yes.
There's feathers all over.
That's a beautiful crown right there too.
We have our feathers come from here. We have that's not true.
literally speaking the Yoruba language. They acknowledged it, right? You want to see
And I
the
bet you if you see another group, if you ask another group of people, they're gonna say they're indigenous. That's just like in the Americas. There's people like you, and then there's people like us who claim are indigenous.
If you can show the people who present as black,
this is common sense. This is
that's
common
cool.
sense.
You can show it. You can show it. Cool.
You're also proud of
I'm not
being
saying-
African. You would
I'm
take
not saying-
yourself off of stolen land. Go to Africa and get off stolen land.
No, I'm
Get off
African
of
no matter
stolen
where I
land.
go,
You
bro.
so African. Why you
So
sitting
were
on
they.
stolen land?
Yeah,
So
but
what's
you
that? According
the
to their
Native
words.
Americans say that about you though.
No, they
Yeah.
don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
They not even
I'm
on the
not blaming
land.
Africa,
know
but
what's
it don't
up.
matter what thing. You would
I'm not
take
saying-
yourself off of stolen.
They not even on the lands that we talking about. So how the fuck is a Navajo on fucking Eastern Woodland, dude?
You so proud to be African. Pay a plane ticket and get up out of here.
Come up here.
You'll spend $600 on a plane ticket to Miami. You'll spend $600 on a plane
It's
ticket to
not predicated
California.
upon me getting a
Go
plane
to
ticket,
Africa.
right?
Go to
My
Africa.
ancestors built this, so it's
You
not
hate
like-
yourself.
Yeah,
Go to
they do
Africa.
nothing.
I hate myself
Your
because I'm
ancestors came
African.
in the 1900s.
How does that make logical sense? I'm just telling you
Stop
about
taking credit for American
feather
Indian
crowns.
inventions. That's wild.
What's your
I wish
family
it would stop
culture is an
resorting to
African culture.
insults. I wish it would stop
One
resorting
second.
to
What's your
insults.
family build, OHF? What's your family build?
What'd you say?
What's your family build?
What my family build?
Yeah, what they build?
So
And
my
where?
family owns land in the coast of Carolina.
In coastal Carolina.
That they purchase from their slave owners. Right?
Who was their
Purchased
slave
that land.
owners? Who was their
Right?
slave owners?
So that's not we can
What family?
my genealogy.
What family were they? What family
Show
were
me
they?
yours, and we can do that. Right now,
Oh,
some of
I've
the
been showing mine. You gotta show some
I
shit.
promise you, I'll follow up with what you want to discuss.
You showed it. You know it. You talking
Right now,
about.
you're derailing. I came up to show.
I'm not. We already know your family, Shaw. Your family
And I
name
want
is
to
Shaw.
say something. So okay, so say that they brought feathers over there, right? So in spiritual practices and as a healer, I gift feathers to people, right? So if I feel like that I've had a connection with them, or even after I owl feathers that I got myself from an actual owl, I gift them to people. So that doesn't necessarily mean just because they're wearing a feather from Africa that they're African, right? You agree that people traded, right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that these people are indigenous. It's okay, it's okay, from
So in Africa and diasporic, let me not even say African, diasporic traditional practices like voodoo or lukumi or in palo, which is what I practice. All those feathers represent something. I'm not giving nobody a random feather that I cleanse them off. I have to, when I know the bird, I gotta know what I'm using that bird for.
You think
what it represents.
that's only African though? The indigenous population.
I said diasporic traditional practices.
Hey, wait. Let me respond to him. First off, my thing is with you, me and you had our conversation. You're not even in spiritual practice. You're in like a religion aspect. So of course you're gonna do what they're telling you to do, right? With me, I don't have to follow that shit. I give an owl feather because they were known within my culture, within my tribe, as people who were healers or they were leaders of ceremonies. I can give whoever the fuck I want what the fuck I want. I don't have to listen to nobody when it comes to a practice that is given to me by ancestry and by tradition. Like I don't have to do.
So you making it up? You making it up as you go? Then basically, you haven't a shaman or any type of priest or anybody hasn't put you through a rites of passage ceremony. So everything.
First off, you don't have why. See, that's what I'm saying. Like I see why you are the way you are. You limit. You're boxed in. That's why you can't get the picture out of your head that everybody's not fucking African. Everybody's not African. I don't have to do what the fuck people tell me to do. I'm never like that. And guess what? My life is still in alignment. I'm still getting blessed because I'm blessing others with, it's a gift. You don't have to follow by that. You don't have to do that all the time. I'm not saying that that's not a thing, but I don't do that. So if I'm not doing it, other people also don't do that as well. I've been cleansed by people too who have gifted me things from other countries and something personally that they've made as well after ceremonies. You don't have to do it like that. That's not, no limitation.
I never heard of that. When
Well,
you talk to
this is
any
the first
Native
time.
American,
Nice
hold
to
on, let
meet
me
you.
respond.
I'm an American Indian. No.
So
Like, get our names
I'm
right.
an American Indian. I'm not Native American, so let's clear that up. But go ahead.
I just want to respond. So when I talk to American Indians, right, that are from certain tribes, and their tribes they have rules and protocols.
Right.
So if they make a feathered headdress, right, those bird feathers that they use, we can't even have them legally in our car, or we.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a.
We'll get a
FUCK. I don't care. That's my thing. Like you very like, ooh, you so like I can't even think of the word. Like
I know I make you smile. I know I make you smile.
Nah, you're very you're a limited
being.
You're
What's
very
he logical,
and I'm not.
He's religious because what people don't understand,
Yes,
even
very
with the Paulo, with Paulo, with Santeria, with all those spiritual systems, you guys are following a religion, right? Because I'm gonna show you something. Why do you get initiated, right? Because you really don't need to be initiated. You think you need to be initiated because the whole purpose of initiation is to get your psyche into an order to think a certain way. I'll give you a prime example. If you never seen the fucking knife, excuse my language, if you never seen the knife, right? And in your, let's say, amongst your family, or your village, right? Your village, to become a man, you have to go through this process of seeing a knife. So you seen your uncles and your brothers and all them seen this knife. They went in as a boy initiation process. Because when you get initiated, you was one thing, then you become something else. That's the only purpose of initiation, is to get your psyche to align up with the programming that they're giving you. So you only think because you initiated, you now can have access to these spirits. There's people who can talk to them. I set up Paulo stuff in my house. I know
you randomly did that?
Bro, you
yes.
do not have to be
Do
initiated.
you understand who we are?
Blood.
You don't need
so,
I don't need
what
to be
pack,
initiated.
What pack with what
well, I don't need to be no pack, bro. I'm a hold on.
Right. You're in the Matrix, dark side.
I don't need to be no pack.
All right. No, it has to be a pack. If you work with anything Paulo, unless you start working with random stuff, certain things gonna happen to you along down the line. But you can't random. You have to know, like when we do stuff, like one of the things we do is we have a misa before we even go through all that to see who walking with us and which ancestors around.
What's up, Frenchie?
And that's true, but how do you think the first person started?
I mean, it's been going on for years. That's how they have it established.
And these are not the only spiritual practices, man. Like
he's talking about, he practices Paulo. So
I didn't say I practice Paulo. I set up a Paulo. Listen, I had an Agisi in my house. I had Zerobanda with me. I had a lot. Listen, I mess with voodoo.
Agisi is not a spirit, but that's not a spirit. That's not a spirit.
What I'm saying is, Nagisi is what they call the Cadrome. I know what the Nagisi
no, that's
is,
not.
bro.
It's not called a Nagisi. It's not called a Nagisi, brother. It's a
What's it called?
It's an Nganga.
Nganga. Listen,
Nganga and Kisi. So,
listen, whatever it is, I set it up. Like I had set up Oshun. I talked to Oshun. I talked to
30,000 likes.
Man, listen,
you gotta know what sticks. What's the 21 sticks that you get? What's the 21 sticks that you get?
You don't have to be.
Listen, bro. I'm gonna say you something, bro. When you dealing with chaos, bro, all that law, all that order y'all do it for y'all initiations, right? When you come to these spirits as a peer, I don't need to do all that.
Yeah. Yes, you do, because your pot not gonna work if you don't know what type of.
But how you gonna tell somebody that's not gonna work? How do you know his practice? How do you know that?
Listen,
how many dirts did you put in there? How many dirts did you put?
Listen, I'm telling you right now, I had issues with the feds, bro. And I went to Zerobanda, my guy. I'm not locked up. I had issues with the ATF, the feds. I'm not locked up. What you talking about? I don't need to do what y'all do because I'm not on y'all level. I come
how many? Boy, you can't say that you built in Nganga. That's not in Nganga. Whatever you built over there, it's none of that. Because I'm asking questions. That's like you building a car. I know I need an engine. I know I need a trans in there. I gotta know the components of the engine and trans. I know I need this. I know I need shocks. I know I need struts. There's certain specific things to make that car go. So when you get in Nganga or a pot,
Spirit tell me.
Which everybody don't got and don't need.
I let Spirit tell me, and what Spirit told me to put in there, and I put it up in there.
How many days did you leave it outside? How many days did you leave it outside?
Listen, however long Spirit told me to leave it out there, I left it out there. Whatever
But
spirit
that's
set
the
you up
but
in
that's
there,
the
I get
thing,
it.
dark side. That's the thing. Like they're so busy listening and following under other people. They're not listening to themselves. That's the separation right here. You're listening to yourself. You're listening to the inner voice. They're listening to other people and how other people.
He doesn't even know how to pronounce the name.
Well,
of
it doesn't
the,
matter.
Pronounce it, bro.
Yes, it does
That
matter.
not. Listen. I being in New Orleans voodoo, I was even taught. Yeah, I get what you're saying because our prayers are in French, but the spirit knows your heart. If you do not speak French or it was hard for you to say the prayer, they don't care. They do, but they don't. Like that's just not a thing where they're just like, never mind, I don't like you. That's not how that works. That is not how that works. And that's why I'm saying, like, you don't have to always follow under somebody. A lot of people are just born with it, and that's okay. Like I know so many people who are not initiated in voodoo and they practice it and they be doing their shit.
Okay,
you know? They be doing their shit.
Okay,
Go
try to build a car without.
Why do you think that's not possible? Our ancestors built damn near everything. What do you mean? You acting like building something? I have to ask somebody how to build the shit. I don't. I can figure it out my damn self.
Let me ask you.
Don't act like women can't fix
That
cars.
doesn't make sense. Why do you think that's not possible? To ask somebody how to build the shit? I don't. I can sense.
That don't make sense.
That does not
It
make
makes
sense.
total sense.
Well, let me ask you something. If spirit tell you something, who initiates you? Don't you not get initiated through spirit first, not than the regular person? Because the spirit's supposed to initiate you, right? You get everything.
No, we got checks and balance. We just can't be randomly going.
If spirit come to
you,
there's nothing. If spirit come to you, it doesn't matter what checks and balance you got. When spirit say, "Hey, this is what it is. This is what it is." No matter what.
I would know how to pronounce I would know how to pronounce the words first. If spirit is telling me the right thing, I'll pronounce it right, and I would know what go in there. If you telling me you built it in Ganga, you tell me you built it in Ganga, I'm asking you what go in there.
And I put
like,
the
there.
sticks up in there. The Apollo sticks, how I feel was up in there. Yeah.
You don't even have to tell him that, like, bro. It's really simple. He's stuck on the language and pronunciation of stuff.
He don't gotta tell y'all that, but if he's telling me he built the pot, I need to know that he built.
Let me
why do I need to tell you what's in the pot, bro? First of all, spirit speaking simple.
Let me finish. You don't need to. Please don't even go that deep with your practice. Like it's very simple.
He practiced the same thing as me, so why he can't go deep with it? According to
then y'all need to have that conversation together another time. Like that's sacred.
You know
what I'm saying?
All that. I got a real question. When y'all gonna tell YT folks they going back to Africa too with y'all? Huh? Fuck all that. We y'all gonna tell YT folks
they involved with y'all
too.
because they was already over here with y'all. So
Nah. We y'all gonna tell YT folks they from Africa, Leroy?
No, I don't have nothing to do with them.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Like
especially
you know all those
especially
Eastern
your
Woodland
ancestry. Yes, you do.
You know all them Eastern Woodland Indians are mixed, and you got a lot of.
What do you think Africans are, nigga? What do you think Africans are?
Everybody mixed. Everybody African.
Right. What do you think Africans are? Mixed.
Them Choctaw, them Cherokee mixed. All of. I was just on the panel with some Navajo folks. They said, yeah, all of them mixed.
I'm asking the question. What y'all gonna hold on? What y'all gonna tell YT? What are you gonna tell YT folks they African, Leroy?
I'm gonna tell them they European. I'm like, hey, Europe is your home.
No, they're African. Nah.
No, I don't know that.
We all from Africa. We all from Africa, right?
I gotta go to work, y'all. I gotta get off of here. I'll be back.
Yeah. It get real hot when it's time to say YT folks is African, right? Since we all from Africa, right, Leroy?
I mean, well, yeah, originally, yeah, all human beings.
Yeah. So when you gonna tell YT people they from Africa?
They think we're more from Africa than they are. That's the thing. Like when they come from them, we don't come from y'all.
The earth is our turf.
I mean,
you can't use the white T-man out of Africa.
Nah. We all from Africa, right, Leroy? And you got North African ties, Leroy. They came from your people, Leroy.
They come from Fulani come from West Africa.
They come from Middle East. And his wife, his mother is Moorish. Right, Abraham Sunni. Yeah. His mom is Moorish. So YT people come from your North African ancestor.
Somebody said talking about being in the ma'am, you got a name. Your name is Aya. You got some Hebrew Israelite name, and claiming that you're part of a cult.
But I wanted to tell you this. I wanted to clarify something. I don't just gift my feathers to everybody during every cleansing. I want to clear that up. Even though I don't give a damn, I do what the hell I want. I don't give a damn, I do what the hell I want. And still,
But you can't say you out here building prendas.
No. You gotta start telling why. I want you to see you on a YT panel saying that they African, Leroy.
Yeah, but why would I say that though?
Because
but why would I say that though?
Because you're responsible.
That was
you got more
over 100,000 years ago.
You got
nah,
it's not even that far. You got North African lineage. YT people come from it. So yeah.
No, the Vandals. The Vandals went back.
Nah.
Like you had people that came back into Africa.
Nah. You ain't gonna look a lot of this. Start telling YT people that they from Africa. Tell them pale North Africans that you want to deal with them too. Because
they can't even make it off of the coast. They can't.
You gonna let y'all build up in North Africa all willy-nilly?
You never heard of the Dawes Rose or the Henderson Rose or the Williams Rose? Leroy?
I know about them.
He has.
Okay, so look, check this out. So what you fail to realize when they say that your lineage had 25%, that was really another. They was really taking out the rest of what you really was. That's not them. So you should know that those roles were not correct. So you know that you being called African American from the land, right?
No, because I don't even care about even being a part of this. Like I'm good. Bro.
Why wouldn't you care? Listen, why wouldn't you care about this land? This is your land.
This not his land, brother. Doesn't matter if he is indigenous to his land. Once you give up your indigenous
this is God's land. That's what the Lakota.
And who you think we are?
What?
Who you think we are?
What is going on?
The Lakota said this is.
You think we are?
What?
I ain't Lakota, Nick. Are you Lakota, Leroy?
I'm just giving you an example what the Indians
are the Lakota Powhatan.
You say, are they Powhatan? Well, the Powhatan are mixed.
Man, can you shut the fuck up and answer the question, nigga? Damn.
No, they're not.
You can't never. So they ain't got no authority to dictate whose land is what.
That was from a white tea person, a Native American.
Man, I don't. If they say their land is Great Spirit's land. That's what they say.
Yeah, did the power?
They're not. They don't speak. That? They don't speak for everybody, Leroy.
He not indigenous. Don't care if he could be connected to it. Once you give up your identity, you up out of here, buddy. Go back to Africa.
I'm not a dude that's over here building imaginary.
He not give up your identity, you up out of here, buddy.
Show you what a pot looks like. I should put mine on camera, but I'm not. I should put mine on camera, but I'm not. I show you what a real pot looks like.
Leroy, did you ever have a grandparent or anybody tell you that you wasn't what they was that they was some kind of Indian? What it said, but you ain't never had one of them. Well, you might be from you. What is? Yeah, because one thing about it, my people, man, both sides of my family always told me, but we is either they just constantly say this: we either Cherokee or Choctaw, and from what I done pulled up, they wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm.
I done dated myself out, and I done dated myself all the way back to the 1700s.
Man, that man don't care, brother.
I done
brought
myself all the way back. I done brought myself
through
all the way back to Princess Nicola, a direct descendant.
Well, I did my genealogy. I ain't find no Indians.
Brother, he want to be cut. He want to be cut on his head. He want to go dig up a dead body so he can.
It would look like.
to Apollo. That's what he want to be cut on his head.
like
He
a color purple.
Go test your pot out. I want you to go draw a female on the
He
ground
want to
right
be cut on
now.
his head.
Draw a female on the ground.
He want the spirits to enslave him.
And take. Show me how you
That's what
see
he
those
doing right
females.
now. Doing right
It
now.
sounds like
Yes.
we ain't gonna let them enslave us. And right now, you know, since I ain't gonna lie, I kind of got mad when I went down that rabbit hole because I seen exactly and my grandfather knew, because my grandfather, he is actually part of the Powhatan tribe, but he with the Caddo Nation.
I don't know why y'all be trying to come into our traditions and y'all got y'all own. Like y'all should practice.
That's our
American
traditions.
What traditions? What are you talking about?
You using American Indian herbs in your tradition. Stop it.
Literally.
American.
I could pick what.
Go get some African herbs.
I pick herbs. The herbs are not called American.
Listen,
Indian
go
herbs.
pick.
They're American herbs. When
Go
you
pick
look
some.
up where they're from,
They're
it will
herbs
say
that grow in America.
That's
exactly, and the majority of them are exclusive. So what is it? They don't have to be American Indian, but it is American herbs. Baby.
You ain't using no African herbs.
Herbalist.
You ain't using no African herbs. African religion. You use American.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess what they
what that got
found
to
in
do
mummies?
with you being a part of the traditions? If you don't believe the traditions, if you don't believe you African, you should go practice.
What traditions? No, you didn't.
How you think they found? How you think they found? Their white substance. They found their white substance inside.
Show me bearing something.
Not African.
Show me bearing
voodoo comes from the word voodoo. That comes from the word Benin for spirit.
No, it doesn't. Hoodoo
Yes, it
is
does.
a whole American Indian word. What are you
Show
saying?
me the American Indian definition.
I got you. The Ute language. The Ute Aztec language. Hoodoo and no hoodoo. Literally. Hoodoo and
you not
hoodoo.
Naztec. You're not Naztec. And what would it mean to you now?
It means spirit, nigga. It's trickster energy.
Show it. Show that.
Show it. All right, bet.
Like this nigga don't think nothing. This nigga don't think nothing existed before Africans in Africa. Like I hadn't even had. Like I would give you if you. Oh, that's Chinese or that's from Honduras. Even though it's still America. Oh, that's from Alaska or you just Africa. Like god damn.
Africa is the only ones that have drums.
Original land, bro.
Only has spirits. Don't even deal with them, bro. Africa one the only people is doing with spirits, bro. American Indians.
But I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that part, bro. I'm not denying that the Indians had that.
Yeah. Bro, you coming over to America, right?
Wait. Hold on, cause you slick tried to throw that in there. Nah, we weren't worshiping nothing in the Africans was. We wasn't.
Hold on, you a Hebrew Israelite, Tyson? Tyson, you a Hebrew Israelite? You a Hebrew Israelite?
I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, apparently I am.
He said what? When you said American Indians wasn't doing what?
Yeah, because I want to hear this.
We wasn't worshiping the devil.
Huh?
We worship the winged serpent and the
devil.
Stuff like this.
Oh my God. Listen, bro, American Indians is not Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. That Hebrew Israelite, American Indians is not Hebrew Israelites.
No Hebrew Israelite.
You talking about the winged serpent?
Tyson, we was with you now. What happened?
You said the winged serpent.
We used to serve like the winged serpent, the snake, the jaguar, stuff like that.
Ask Leroy, he think they come from Africa. The alligators.
Okay, so what did I got?
No, that come the jaguar. The jaguar does not come from Africa, brother.
I
the jaguar is indigenous to America.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. I'm just, making a joke that he thinks every animal, everything that existed comes from Africa.
Oh yeah, I got the source. Real quick, hold on.
Hey, I think you cute and you come from Africa, and that's no offense either.
I am definitely very cute.
Shut your ass
and
up.
I don't come from Africa.
All right, one second. I got you.
And you know this. You went to my page. It's not giving African.
Don't tell nobody.
I'm trying to read.
We didn't worship the winged serpent.
I'm trying to read. Never mind. I'll do this. I'm trying to goddamn read, man. And y'all know my voice don't get that loud. Let me see. All right, so this is from St. George, Utah. As you can see right here, this will say it's talking about Paiute tribe. It's a Coyote trickster. Southern Paiutes called the hoodoos. The hoodoos painted red paint face. In later years, they would call them hoodoos and things like that. So
I don't want to talk until you're done, so you won't kick me off. Are you done? Yeah, it's really that simple. Like I mean, that what a part of that word even sounds like any form of African language. Hoodoo, that doesn't sound.
And they even originally called it that shit.
Yeah, I was telling him that about voodoo.
That shit.
Yeah, I was telling him that about voodoo too. Like like even like when I was from the Americas, they just want to stick to something that has anything to do with Africa just because of indoctrination. And a lot of these books and information that they was telling us, you know, during my initiation was very recent, like recent knowledge. Like it wasn't no elders coming in talking to us, telling us information. You know what I mean? Like I had to pick what resonated with me and what was true to my spirit, you know, and stuff that I also grew up around and knew was always a part of me, you know. So they just Africanize everything, just like the hoodoo deck. When I'm working like with the hoodoo deck, like when they African, I just be looking at that like them folks is not African.
They didn't call it voodoo at the time. The French.
Yeah, the deck. That deck wasn't made.
When I'm working like with the hoodoo deck, like when they African,
like she even say that hoodoo is dependent on your family. That's one of my cousins.
Right. Yeah, but I'm talking about like the deck though, like you know when you read in the deck and then you pull a certain card and it say like, oh, this person is from Africa, but the plant is an American plant and that person's working all on the land and stuff. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if that's what you meant though.
The voodoo deck.
I wasn't trying to, brother. I mean, my bad about cutting you off a while ago, brother. I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to say, I wasn't trying to say that we worship the winged serpent, but we used to talk about stuff like that. We didn't, yeah.
He drops everybody, you know, when it's too loud and people are over talking and, you know, that's nothing personal. Sometimes
I did kind of cut him off. I wasn't trying to, but I did do it though. I wasn't doing no truth.
Yeah. But yeah, we're old dude that he trying to come back up. Oh, he said he was at work or something. I remember.
Oh, y'all gotta go to work. Yeah, as soon as I say bring on some YT people they from Africa, they get hot in the kitchen, huh?
Well, my thing is like he think we supposed to feel some type of way because I mean like it's just everything is so spiritual to me. Like he got on here and was like the Native Americans were actually praising me and that's why you know like he has no idea because he can't even separate Native American from American Indians. Like he keeps saying Native American when he knows he's kind of referring to us, but he don't never say American Indian unless like I correct him or whatever. Like even he was like the Native American tribe, the Choctaw, those are American Indians. Like so he's just in his own stubborn.
I'm gonna get him a good sticker, a good N-word sticker. but like what Panda said, good sticker, a good. Here's a good for being a good man.
That's what it was given. Exactly. Like you bowing down to your master. Like you bowing down to your masters, and those are your handlers too as well. Like that's why I be saying. That's why I said earlier, the agent you don't have to be clocking in and writing down names. It's a spiritual thing. Like you just told us on this panel, you're against us, literally.
Facts. And he always here because they trying to imagine that. Your goof ass on.
Right, and then say well, I don't want no parts of that. Talking about we telling him to get off this land. So go find, like Venus be saying, go find your land in Africa. You in neither one. You find, like Venus be saying, not in Africa. Like what's tea?
What?
I'll be the first one to go.
Hey Darby, you should do something on how all these so-called babalaos from Africa come to America get put on. Like the dude who really started the Orisha houses in America, he actually had to he got initiated in Cuba, and then he went to the Americas and started making these Orisha houses all around, like that whole Orisha village that then I think in the Carolinas or something like that. When dude was from Detroit, he got put on in Cuba, and then he came through with this whole we African Orisha houses and shit like that.
And that's because there's people like him, like they really think they're African, so they have to anything that's very deeply rooted. They have to associate it with Africa. They can never associate it with just being from the Americas or even other places around, around the world. Like he's so boxed in, it's just Africa. Like I was saying earlier, he don't say nothing, from China or Alaska or Australia. Like it's just simply Africa. And it's like, that's not how things work. Just because people have similar cultural traditions, because it's spiritual, and majority of these religions or spiritual practices work with elements. Like you don't think everybody, it's a consciousness thing. You don't think everybody had the same thought, oh, let's cleanse in the water. That's all around the world. People know water is used as a tool to cleanse. Like, you know what I mean? Like
it's animism. The original was animism. Like that's spirit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just one of those things where like he don't be using, he use half his brain.
It's those Africans. So I'm gonna show you the difference. In African spiritual systems like Ifa, they believe in reincarnation. But when you go everywhere else, a lot of other systems talk about leaving this place and not coming back though. Exactly. Ifa be talking about, no, you gotta come back here. So they like really like that's a newer form of a spiritual system.
Come back to us, nigga.
of a spiritual system.
Come back to us. I probably might have shut this down soon, honestly.
Yeah. Then
I'm gonna shut this down.
You about to what?
Yeah, I'm gonna shut the wide down.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
All right.